Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Welcome to the Simpsons Index. I am your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me is Jordan.
Hi.
And BT.
My God, he's completely correct.
And welcome to episode 58, and an episode we're dubbing Teenage Wasteland.
Teenage Wasteland.
Bow, bow.
Who are you? I love that song.
Oh my God.
So the concept for this episode is we are going to be only doing episodes from the teens era today.
Painfully average episodes.
Painfully
Yes.
average episodes. There are 7 episodes that I have lined up that I have deemed commit the 7 deadly sins of bad Simpsons episodes.
Nice.
Ooh. What are they, Elliot J. O'Neill?
Well, that'll be revealed by surprise. We've got a dice rolling our DM BT.
Yep.
DM BT, you're just all letters, aren't you?
Yeah.
He will be in charge of the dice rolls, and I'll be in charge of picking the episodes. Anyway, so we have episodes from seasons 13 to 19. We don't know what episode we're going to start with, but BT, roll us our first episode.
All right. 3.
3, so 1, 2. Oh! This episode commits the sin of the insufferable musical episode.
Oh, great.
This is going to be the President War Pearls from season 15. We'll be back shortly. All right, and we are back, and we just watched our first episode of Teenage Wasteland, the episode that commits the Simpsons sin of an insufferable musical. What is that in comparison to the 7 deadly sins?
I think we've collectively decided upon that being greed, so they can sell soundtracks and make some sweet simoleons.
That sounds about right. It's always about money, isn't it?
Always about money.
And this episode was the President War Pearls. It was season 15, episode 3, written by Dana Gould. First released in November 03. In this episode, Martin Prince has to step down from leader of the student council, president, body, whatever. And Lisa steps in his place, and they do a bunch of musical numbers reminiscent of the musical Evita, released back in something mid-90s, starring Madonna.
When Madonna was relevant.
And when Evita was relevant. Guys, what did you think?
It wasn't very Gould.
It was quite insufferable. You're quite right in that.
Well, I was actually thinking, as far as committing the sin of a musical episode, it didn't actually have that many musical moments. I think I counted 4 or 5 all up. But the songs were so short and so far apart that I actually thought that they didn't commit to this musical episode format hard enough.
4 or 5 songs in a half-hour episode.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. My big problem with this is, what are the songs from Evita other than Don't Cry For Me, Argentina? I have no idea. So they could have been perfectly parodying them in very clever ways, and I have no idea because it's just not well-known enough to have any impact. I mean, how long after that musical came out did this episode come out?
So that was like mid-90s, and this episode was 2003. So yeah, it was at least 5 or 6 years out of date.
Although the musical itself was first done in 76.
Oh, okay.
It's
So-
it's a
I didn't know.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Of course
Is
it
it? Wow.
Um,
Okay, let's put it this way. Because my mum used to play the best of Andrew Lloyd Webber on repeat, and I now have all those songs drilled into my skull, but I had never even knew Evita was Andrew Lloyd Webber because it didn't appear on the best of it didn't appear on the best of Andrew Lloyd Webber. This is not even remotely.
Which had several songs from Cats, so that shows how good Evita is.
Yeah. Him and Tim Rice did it together.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I know songs about Jellicoe cats. I don't know shit about Ava Perón.
Yep.
I went and saw Evita at the theater when I was young.
Wow.
I need to find out what year that could possibly be, but I'm guessing it was probably late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most memorable musical, I would say. It's a very interesting story, the life of Eva Perón, but
Yeah.
I mean, when you convert it to The Simpsons, it wasn't like a super interesting story. They've kind of done this before, like the Lisa the Beauty Queen kind of, but just with less music and more funny.
Look, we're going to be doing the reviews a bit more condensed in this one because we're going to try and do 7 episodes tonight. So sorry to fans out there who are hoping for a deep dive into this piece of shit episode, but you're not going to get it.
Well, that's the problem. It's not even a piece of shit. We'd have a lot of things to say about a piece of shit, but I'm pretty sure we were all checking our phones at some point during this one because there's not a lot to really grip onto.
And it really loses its pacing in the middle of the second act. It just really drops. And
oh God, it feels so... We both said at the end, it's like this episode feels like it went forever.
when the third act started, I'm like, oh, this is where it ends. Oh, wait, no, it still keeps going. My God, it just won't end.
The student strike, yeah.
But anyway, this new episode gives me the perfect time to practice the new questionnaire.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
I am unprepared.
For better or worse, what joke stood out to you?
The positive is there's a sign gag. Again, the sign writers are on point here. With the school newspaper says, "Are you a Bart or a Millhouse?
Yeah.
Take our quiz."
I
thought
dug
was
that
good.
one.
Yeah.
The one that like struck me because it was just like super wacky was why was Willie holding a piano up? Like on
when he drops
how fucking strong is he as well that he can hold up a grand piano
with just himself.
Yeah.
Willie was weirdly prominent in this episode.
He really was. I did like the bit where he's making fun of Millhouse.
Oh, yeah, that is just classic. Like, they don't make fun of us in there, do they? Oh, no, I'm sure they do. Look at me. I'm Millhouse. I have no friends, so I confide in Willie. And then when they cut to inside and he's wearing the glasses.
and he's like hunched over
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
Okay, jokes that really made me go, huh? There's a bit where Marge, they're going into the student-run casino for charity night, and Marge is like, oh, but I can't gamble. I played Candyland with Maggie, and I threw vodka into her face. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
I know. It felt like that was just setting up the joke. Like, and then Homer goes, oh, I bet, you'll survive this system. And she's like, betting system. Oh, my God, this is a sign. And then goes in, hit me to Ralph playing blackjack and then throws vodka in his face.
It was weird. And the other joke is Lenny shakes a slot machine and then goes, I'm a big man. And then it knocks him over and goes, but I break like a little girl, which is a Bob Dylan reference. It's like, but completely out of context. It makes no sense. And it's weird. It's like someone heard that on the radio while writing it and just threw it in for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I really, the whole casino thing, that was just crammed with mediocre jokes. And
the joke that one of them that I did kind of like is when the, we're from Acme Amusement Corp and we're looking for Principal Skinner. Like, oh, yes, we all are. And he's like, punching his fist.
Principal Skinner. I did like that, yeah.
Yep.
There were some quick little jokes like that did well in this episode, but for the most part, there were no laugh out louds, I don't think.
What about the other terrible one with the guaranteed none of this money will go to Indians?
Yeah. That was bad, sign writers. Not good.
Ooh, please don't.
One joke that stood out to me was another Simpsons sin, which I don't have an episode based around this, but just insufferable Dan Castellaneta Homer improvs when he's doing the wheel and it's do 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 do. Oh God. And it just keeps going.
It went on, it was probably an okay bit. It just went on too long to the point where even Lisa's rolling her eyes. It's like, you don't get to hang a lampshade on that. You're still doing it.
All right, next question. For better or worse, what story points stood out to you in this episode?
I do like the idea of them kind of glamming up Lisa to the point where she loses focus on what's really going on.
Yeah.
Because she's popular now and she's getting all this extra attention. They do it in the span of a song, and her first verse in that song is protesting, but then the second verse of hers is, she's saying, okay, you know what, I can enjoy this and still be a good leader. And I think that for a plot point that actually works. It's just everything either side of it didn't.
But I agree, it's a solid way to go for an episode that's about her becoming the student body president, something she's always wanted, and of course she'd lose sight of it.
It did drag, because I think they tried to follow the basic story of the musical just without the dying. Although she did figuratively go to heaven. At the end with her kind of choice of school.
And that bit about the story also stood out for me. Otto going, oh, this is a happy ending, and then Homer immediately comes and goes, no, we can't afford it. And then they get into this argument, and it's just a really unsatisfying way to end the episode for me.
Yeah, like I said before, it just really reminded me of the Lisa the Beauty Queen episode with the kind of her becoming this kind of figurehead, and then they should have learned by now, surely, that, if they put Lisa in a position of authority, she is actually going to try and fight for equality and make sure that student voice is heard, so that they to come up with a dastardly way to remove her. It felt like it had been done much better previously. So that bit kind of was a bit rolling my eyes.
Well, I found that's where the episode sagged, was right before she signs the thing, right after, and then when she sort of resigns and all that. And that's where the most draggy part of the material was the episode for me. Because, it was so, didn't have many jokes, or had so many non-jokes, Superintendent Chalmers going, oh, why would I wear that Slam t-shirt? I may as well just get a shirt that says male prostitute.
Yeah, that was really kind of...
Was that a joke?
I guess. supporting so long athletics, arts, and music
Yeah.
somehow means the same as being a male prostitute, or as we call them, prostitutes.
Yeah.
So what did you think of that story turn as well, taking away all those programs?
It didn't really make sense, especially because like I know Skinner he's very budget conscious and thrifty, and we all know that.
Yep.
But I don't know, has it really been established that he's against extracurricular activities?
I wanted a scene there where Chalmers is like, you have to cut budget or we're going to close the school. And then he's motivated to make these cuts. But instead he's got this dastardly plan to take away the education. It's like...
And he sings the song about, I've got an evil plan. That's not how the song went, but, you know.
But, yeah, like removing arts and
everything.
But, yeah, it didn't really make much sense to me. Like...
No.
I think, again, it was set up for the joke, like, you know, would you want to pay $1.23 extra? You know, it's like...
But yeah, and it didn't set up any good jokes, like, oh my God, they're taking the art room. And Willie, again, another Willie joke in this episode, is taking it, I'm going to cook my lean cuisine in your kill. Nah, ha, 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 ha. What?
Yeah, that would ruin your lean cuisine, just quietly.
Yeah. So, play count. Have you seen this episode before today?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
How many times?
Once, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I want to say once or twice before. Yep.
Yeah, I can distinctly remember seeing it once, going, fuck this, seeing it come on again, and like, you know what, it's been a while, let me give it a chance. Why did I give it a chance? And here we are today.
Yeah, yeah, there was one joke that I remember from it. Is a bit with the key, with the kind of master key to the school.
Yeah.
I did like that back and forth.
Lisa kind of going, you know, what do you mean standard key release boilerplate? No, it's very, you know, proper. But then like I'm just going to lock this here, and she comes straight in with the key.
This key unlocks everything.
Yeah, it was a really long road to get there, but I did like the destination.
Yeah.
I must admit, I did have a little... you had me annoyed, but now you're making me smile, so fuck you, but also, hey.
Yeah, one of those ones where actually pulling it out longer worked better.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is an episode that I have just totally avoided over the years. And, you know, season 15 has its moments. It's not entirely awful. This is just not one of them.
Mm.
Ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No.
Skinner's off model. Martin's voice is a bit off as well, I felt.
Yeah.
He was very high pitched.
Also, Lisa, when she was singing, she kind of got more adult, like her voice, because obviously I don't think...
It's probably hard to sing in character.
Yeah, I feel like when she was hitting the powerful notes, she lost the Lisa voice.
Yeah. Like, Yardley Smith is a fantastic voice actor. It's just unfortunate, like, the musical moments, it feels like they're rarely ever suited for Lisa.
Mm.
Especially the Gaga episode when it was like, that song's just way out of her range.
Yeah.
And then, this one where, it's probably a key or two too high for her to hit a big note in a believable childish voice or something.
Mm-hmm. The style of the episode, they've done parodies before.
Yeah, well, look, the closest, episode I've got to tie to this one is the Sherry Bobbins one, and it's not particularly an episode like, I don't know, just ranking it off the top of my head is like a bronze or silver for me. But even then, that to me still feels like a Simpsons episode, even though they're doing like a musical Mary Poppins thing.
Yeah, it feels more they've Simpsonsized a musical rather than tried to take it and just shove a piece of it into itself. Think more, I suppose, the one with where they My Fair Laddie, I think.
Yeah.
Where they My Fair Lady Groundskeeper Willie.
Talk about the wackiness of this episode.
Having alcoholic beverages and a fully run casino at an elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as wacky moments, I mean, there was the weird joke with the gypsies as well. I'll get the gypsies out of this. Why was that a joke? Like... It made no fucking sense. Or is that an American problem that we aren't aware of? Are gypsies invading public schools?
I think they just appear places and be gypsies.
Although which season is the Lugash episode with?
Couple of seasons ago.
Because I'm thinking it's like the exact same line. They're just double dipping. Where it's like, is my frisbee now? Like it's same as is Pascal. Yeah. It was the same voice and everything.
No, very disappointing. But there weren't a lot of wacky moments. Like, there was wacky choices, like Homer with the stamps. Oh, here's Elvis kissing a bat. I'm a bat. I don't want you to kiss me. Why?
It was like, you'll be a big deal. Look at these stamps that are a big deal, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was, very...
It was supposed to... I think the joke was that, like, Elvis is big and... was it Marilyn Monroe or something? But then it was like the Southwest tree bat or something.
And then autumn in springtime or whatever. I don't know. How about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
I did not.
No, not at all.
No, not even when Lisa quit the ruling class and then joined her proletariats? I don't know.
I don't know. It didn't really feel genuine. It wasn't like there was going to be any consequence to it.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, we're on strike now. It's like, okay, you're not giving anything up, so...
Yeah.
I think there was a thread of something there with Bart accidentally realizing that he liked protesting, but they didn't really follow it.
Pull on that thread at all.
No.
I do like where Bart's being interviewed and her brother had this to say.
Yeah.
Lisa is a nut. She has a rubber butt. Every
Yeah.
time she turns around, it goes putt putt. It's like fascinating.
Yeah.
But this rubber butt cannot dance away from the problem.
There were a couple of just those jokes. They weren't like gutbusters or anything. They were just, sideways smirks.
I was about to say it's a but it wasn't even that. It was like a
Yeah.
I will say the episode is better than banging your shin on a coffee table.
Well, banging your chin on a coffee table only lasts about 20 seconds of pain, though.
Yeah, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
This is
But it makes you feel so alive.
This is about 22 minutes of just...
It's like
yeah.
when you kind of...
Would you watch this episode again?
Here's the weird thing. Even if it was on, I feel like I wouldn't even know it was on.
Yeah,
Like,
it's that forgettable.
It doesn't exist enough to me even notice I'd seen it again.
Well, yeah, and comparing again to the Sherry Bobbins episode, it doesn't even launch into the musical aspect of it to make you feel like it's a musical episode and to see it come. Like, yeah, it's just so not running with its concept. Would you watch it again?
I don't think I would. I think I would be like, it's not like the songs are entertaining, even.
No.
If you're going to pick a musical to do, make it like an upbeat one, not like a sad one. Like Evita is quite a sad, emotional musical.
Yeah.
Like,
And the whole thing with
Mm.
musical comedy, the jokes come in the rhymes. And
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but as a lifelong fan of musical comedy, I can see the jokes coming sometimes.
yeah.
Mm.
And especially in that first song when it's a slow ballad, like you can
Yeah.
feel the rhymes coming so far away and you just sort of have to sit there and just go through it. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel surprising or gut-bustingly funny or anything.
Not at all.
So what would you change about this episode to make it better?
I would go right back to the beginning where it's Lisa and Nelson running against each other for student body president and just make the episode about that.
Yeah.
That sounds like there's a lot
Yeah.
more fun to mine. Maybe do like a Watergate parody or some shit. I don't
You know
know.
what? If this episode was
Yeah.
made these days, it'd be like a Hillary and Trump parody,
Oh my
wouldn't
God.
it?
That would hurt too much. We're not ready for that.
No. But imagine that, like...
Each of them go on like the school's version of like Saturday Night Live, trying to lighten up their image.
Yeah.
And then Trump goes, I am Donald Trump. Vote for me.
Yeah, no, that's what he did. That was his campaign song.
Yeah. I hated that moment from Nelson, by the way. I just wanted to work that in there.
Yeah.
Guest stars of this episode, Michael Moore made a brief appearance,
yeah,
and I
me too.
thought that was actually a good appearance.
I didn't mind. Yeah, that joke was okay.
Where did you get this information? From your mother.
Yeah. And yeah, didn't overstay its welcome. Wasn't a guest star that was being obnoxiously themselves or anything like
Mm.
that. Musical moments. This episode had plenty.
Yeah.
So the first song, the ballad at the start with the making people vote for, what do you guys think?
It was weird because if you didn't know prior to watching that this was a musical episode,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the first
that
song
was
is
left
quite
field.
late. It
Yeah.
kind of comes like 5-6 minutes in, and you're like, "Oh, is this what we're doing now?" It wasn't like from the very start.
It's right at the end of the first act, yeah.
So yeah, it came out of nowhere, and then you're like,
Watching this episode the first time, you would think up until that point that it was going to be an election episode, not a musical episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, very disappointing. And then the second song is the makeover song. I think this was the best one of the episode.
Yeah. I do still like when it's like dress, pearls, shoes, Millhouse.
Yeah. And then she's like, okay, I liked all those other things, but no. And I thought the lyrics, I think it's maybe because it was a faster paced song as well that I feel
Yeah.
like the jokes in the lyrics landed a bit better.
Well, that and it carried plot as well. This is the one where we mentioned before, where Lisa's opinion turns and she starts getting
Yeah.
swayed by the nice things, whereas the other songs are just explaining what's happening.
Well, yeah, because then that brings us to the third song, which is, I don't think this is the technical term, it's just what I like to say, the plate spinning song. You know, when you're watching a musical and there's the song where you get like 5 or 6 different vocal performances because it's just everyone in the musical reminding you of what's happening, where we're at in the plot. It's like watching one person, spinning about 6 plates in front of them. So yeah, the Evil Plan song, Skinner and Bart, and what do you think of this one?
Really just forgettable, because it feels like even if this is a clever parody of the original song, I have no
Yeah.
idea. If they've done something good here, I don't know.
Yeah.
they didn't really make any jokes in it or anything
No.
either. So it wasn't like, I remember that there was that one bit though. It felt like, almost time filling plate spinning. So
Yeah. And then there was the 2-line song, which was just literally 2 lines. The Tango Takes 2, Bart and Lisa at the end of Act 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last song was like a reprise of Don't Cry For Me. And that was like right at the end of the 3rd act. So yeah, we've got both our 1st and 3rd acts largely devoid of these musical moments, which are essentially defining this episode, which makes it weaker because they're not helping define it.
A song should be the crescendo.
Yeah.
You know? The high point, the final big emotional push of the episode, and it's just a protest where everyone's sitting around, and that's like the final, and then they're like, oh, we got to get rid of her, we'll send her to a nicer school. She's not going to a nicer school after all.
Yep.
The end.
Just in the last 5 minutes, let's go through some quick fire notes. BT, you start.
I like that Willie calls them nose wiping hair combers.
That is a good insult. But then he follows it off with that story like, we were all in a cave and then no one made it out alive, not even me. And my Scottish accent is terrible.
Not even Willie.
That was so dumb, and it undercuts the greatness of calling someone a nose wiping hair comber.
I think it's creepy
Yeah.
that like a bunch of adult teachers were like doing a makeover, which included clothes and everything, to an 8-year-old girl.
That never happened to you?
Answer that. Yeah, because it shows her like in a towel at some stage, and it's like, is she like just standing on that little footstool and she's getting naked and they're like just dressing her and stuff?
I'm glad they moved through it quickly because I didn't have time to even think about that.
It was just made me feel...
In an episode where I had a lot of time to think as well. Other notes about this episode, Homer's whole, just say that he's a little la-di-da, and he goes ding-a-ling-a-ling, and...
Yeah. Oh, that's a lovely quiche. I use a salad fork. And I was just,
so horrible.
That was one, I start off not liking it, but then he just kind of keeps going for so long, and you see him prancing across the lawn. He becomes the butt of the joke rather than, suggesting that he be gay being the joke. It's just that Homer thinks it's such a hilarious idea that Homer becomes the butt, but then he comes back in with a tutu, and it's a little too much then.
I didn't mind where Marge goes, where'd you get that? And he just goes, clothesline. At least it was a short explanation. I don't know if it made the bit work, though.
But where to get the basket with the flowers that he's scattering everywhere?
Clothesline.
Okay.
You don't dry your flowers like that?
I should, actually.
No wonder your flowers are always so moist. I like Dredrick Tatum, part of the funds for tonight are going for people who I've injured, so, have fun and also don't piss me off.
Yeah.
Please. He's like begging, please don't piss me off. I like that he used the word recidivism as well.
Recidivism. Victims of my recidivism.
Oh, that's
hard
another
to say
good
with
one.
a Tatum lisp,
Yeah.
Why did they specifically call out PlayStation 1 and there was another like...
I think it was a
call-out?
joke, yeah.
It was a non-joke, yeah.
Well, because 2003, PS2 would have just come out then, so it's a whole, let's buy the old console. For you kids today, that'd be like me going, let's go out and get a Wii U. Get it?
The weird one was her email address was something 83 _/
Yeah.
I don't think
the lost.
Smart Girl 83.
I don't think you can have a / in an email address.
Jordan Zane will go, I was going to bring that up. That's in my notes.
All right. Yeah, because I got to get another few anal corners, actually.
Go for it, man.
Jordan Zane.
So Bart's locker is just like when Lisa comes up to like talk, when
He's
she's
totally empty.
He's
Yeah.
totally empty.
Yep.
And I'm sure that he has some like pranks hidden
Well,
in there
why is
somewhere.
he even in there? Because he's not carrying anything.
Yeah.
So why is he
Yeah.
even opening his locker if there's nothing
I
in there?
don't know.
Opens up, still empty.
The other Bart moment that stuck out to me, the brick thing,
Oh, yeah. Throwing
was
the
just
brick at the
sad.
window and it rebounding.
that was just sad. Anyway, more anal corner?
Yes.
More in the corner.
Wait, has this always been the case and I've just never noticed it before? But the bus, the school bus,
Yeah.
it says Springfield Elementary School.
It might be. I've never paid that much attention to it.
Spring filed, really?
FILED. And I thought, did I just miss it? And then Mr. Grapple moves out of the way and it does say LED at the end. And I was like, that's weird. Have I just never noticed that, or is it just in this episode?
We will keep an eye out for this, folks.
Yeah, that could be huge. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, Jordan was right. There is one scene in this episode where there is the misspelling on the side of the bus saying Springfield instead of Springfield. But as amazing as it would be to have this reoccurring bit, a misspelling on the side of a school bus, unfortunately that's not the case. No, later on in this episode it's spelt correctly, and I've checked a bunch of different episode stills, and it's always spelt Springfield. But anyway, good keen eye, Jordan. I'll be posting a picture of it tomorrow to our Twitter and Facebook pages. Let's get back to the show. Was that it?
For my anal corner, yes.
All right. Well, just a couple of more quick. Gotta be quick. Bart's whole back and forth with Marge. Oh, they weren't kudos. That was sarcasm. Oh, really? Was it? Yes. Oh, Homer, and I'm now. I don't know what's going.
Yeah.
Painful.
A couple of good sign gags as well. When Ken Brockman's reporting on the strike, there's a sign behind that says Alphabet Coop. Or Alphabet Coup.
Oh, okay.
One of the kids is holding a sign that says, flunk me, flunk you. And then Nelson's logo I liked as well. It was just like a fist. Like when they were doing their speeches and they had a banner in front of each of them. And Lisa's is like a cutout of a head and Nelson's is just a huge fist.
Another joke I really didn't like, but you guys seem to giggle at with Milhouse on the ropes. Oh, almost there, Repo Man.
Just because it was really shocking, because the guy cuts it and was it Raphael pulls the mat out of the way and he just slams on the ground. And it's like, ow. And he's like, hey, I love my job. It's like, surprisingly mean.
Raphael is a sarcastic sociopath.
Why, clearly.
He really is.
And the last joke that I liked was Ralph going, look what they did to my triangle. And it was a square.
I thought they were just going to bend it all out straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that on Futurama.
Yeah, that's right.
With when Bender's go around and he's ruining everything by bending it in his sleep, and then Zoidberg goes, my pet Slinky, my lovable pet Slinky, and it's all straightened out.
Yeah, hey, if it's a triangle, you could do the same joke. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, well, it is time to rank this thing! On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe the episode's just meh, you give it a participant, but for the good rankings, you got bronze, silver, gold, and for the best of the very best episodes, which we're probably not going to watch today, definitely not going to watch today, you give a cubic zirconia. Now, let me go first. I'm going to show you how it's done. This was almost a failure for me, but I feel like the couple of good jokes bring it up to participant, but no, this episode, it isn't offensively bad, but it is insufferable. So that's my ranking, BT.
I'm going to participant as well. I don't feel enough about it to hate it, to want to. So it is arguable that it is worth a failure from simply being so dull, but I don't have the emotion to throw a failure at it. So it's a participant. It's a very beige participant. Write the word participant in like the most boring color. In like cream on white, and that's how I feel about it.
Apathetic.
Just draw it while you like
gently pour at it.
Yeah. You're not even like looking at the page; you're just writing it.
Yeah, like participant.
Not even. Just put it on your to-do pile.
Exactly.
Jordan?
It's not as awful as some other things. So yeah, I think participant is a good rank for it, but it's like a low participant. It's any worse, any like other little tiny slip up, it would be sentenced to hell.
Yeah, that's it. It managed to walk the tightrope just in a really boring way.
Yeah.
That was not a great metaphor.
I am walking a tightrope.
There is no risk because I am 1 centimeter above the ground.
No, the tightrope is just drawn on the ground. And then just walking.
Tightrope practice, yeah. All right, well, that'll equal a unanimous participant all around. It will join such episodes as Brick Like Me, Yellow Subterfuge, Donny Fatso, Thursdays with AB, Any Given Sundance, My Fair Laddie, My Fair Lady. Yeah, that sounds about right for this one. Mm-hmm. All right, now to decide which episode comes next, we turn to our DM Beach. Roll the dice.
All right, so I'm going to be rolling my Good Games D6. Good Games, roll your tabletop needs.
Sponsor us.
3 again, so that's going to be...
It'll be I'm just going with like third on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be... Oh, shit.
That's a reaction. What are we watching?
Oh, no.
We are going all the way to season 16 and watching the episode that commits the sin of... It seems pretty racist.
Oh,
good.
Fun.
And this episode is Pranksta Rap. We'll be back. And we are back, and we just watched Season 16, Episode 9, Pranksta Rap. It was written by Matt Sollman and first released in February 2005. In this episode, Bart defies his parents' wishes by going to a rap concert. And the parents soon suspect that he snuck out of the house to go. Then Bart conjures up a big plan to make them think that he was kidnapped, and then Police Chief Wiggum accidentally arrests Kirk in relation to the kidnapping, and stuff happens. Guys, what did you think?
Really should have been called Prankster's Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I hated it.
Yeah?
Really? Wow. I actually like this one more than the last one, because at least
really?
something happened.
I actually
Sure.
think there was a decent episode in there that was
Yeah.
bookended at the start and finish by really offensive scenes that don't even know how to deal with rap like at all.
I don't know about offensive, but deeply lame.
Yeah.
There was some moments in it though that just made me cringe. Like from what do you cringe from? Do you cringe from ear to ear? From eye to chin?
I think it's more like neck to sphincter.
Yeah, it's a whole body tensioning as you're like,
Before we dive in, let's remember this is the Seems Racist episode, which in our 7 Deadly Sins is envy.
yes.
As obviously everyone who hates another race or any other creed is just jealous of them deep down.
Absolutely. And the handling of Bart being into rap, look, because it's not a foreign idea that Bart would be into hip-hop music.
No.
And he, at one point in his life, did the Bartman.
Yes.
Indeed.
He did do the Bartman, didn't he?
But the way that Nancy Cartwright chose to deliver his vocal performance in this episode was largely part of the cringe.
Yeah, anytime he says anything rap-ish, it's got this kind of, let's say,
Lilt.
urban
It's a bit
accent to it.
more AAVE, which
AAVE.
is African American Vernacular English, which
You
is
mean
That is the widest way to describe it, but do go
well,
on.
no.
sir.
It's the. I mean,
If
like
you're going to
because-
say that, you have to put on a tweed jacket.
Yeah. Well, no, because Ebonics is
Yeah.
bad, is a bad term. So African American Vernacular English is the technical term.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's not the best term, but ebonics is kind of a cool word.
It's cool, and then you go, wait.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
from where it sounds cool. The construct of it, where it's come from,
Look, it sounds cooler to say
Yeah.
than AAVE, but
or
just
Ave for short.
yeah.
But the way
just
they
don't.
chose to handle it in this episode was, man, honestly, it felt like middle-aged white people wrote it and middle-aged white people delivered it.
Yeah. And a middle-aged white man had the most speaking parts of a black rapper.
Yeah, that sounded so much like Hank Azaria to me,
It
and
was, yeah.
it was so bad.
Which is weird. You think that'd be a good opportunity to get a voice, like a vocal,
Yeah.
a voice guest in. Voice guest?
They
No,
did
absolutely.
get, didn't they? They did get 50 Cent, right?
They got 50 Cent, and to be fair, I actually liked his line where,
Yeah.
is that it for my community service? Okay, let's go pick up dog poop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming maybe his acting chops aren't quite up to a full episode, but I'm sure you could find someone. Snoop Dogg's been in plenty of things. He's pretty good at it.
Yeah, Ludacris, I thought, would have been an amazing
Well,
choice.
That's a real
It's-
person.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ludacrismas.
He's a great actor, yeah, as we saw in that 30 Rock episode.
Oh, it's Ludacris in like the Fast and Furious movies as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, let's just preface this conversation with people out there. We are not the best authorities on hip hop music. Like, I was a metalhead throughout high school. I largely ignored it and sort of late to the party when I have been listening to hip hop a lot, in my late 20s or
Yeah.
30s, because I genuinely love the bass lines in it, being a bass player. Like, what about you guys? Where do you?
I don't mind hip hop actually, but I guess I am maybe a bit more of a white stereotype
Yeah.
in that I kind of like nerdy hip hop.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys and Ugly Duckling I really like. And stuff like that. I got my mum once for Christmas to buy me a best of NWA
yeah.
greatest hits album, and she didn't realize until she bought it and then got it, and then my brother was like, because he's 9 years older than me, was like, what? Have you looked at what the album is? And then she looked at the things like, a bitch is a bitch. Like,
She swallowed it. What is it?
She swallowed her medication.
No, just don't bite it is the
Oh.
the name of the song. But yeah, so
And Paige, your hip hop.
Oh man, I in my teen years did listen to some Eminem, and that's more or less it. I don't know a lot. There are bits and pieces. I couldn't name artists or songs specifically that I do like.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the in the ones I do like. I like the composition of words and how they flow them together.
yeah, the way that you can kind of make the language kind of flow together. And I really like it.
And finding an interesting way to do that. Like, I like what you did there.
Yeah,
I do more like Aussie hip. Like, if I was to say what is my favorite hip hop band, it'd probably be Butterfingers. Like,
yeah.
Americans go check them out anyway. So, look, we're not the foremost authority on this. Go ask someone else. But yeah, to us, like, I think we can generally agree this episode felt very uncomfortable. For better or worse, what joke stood out to you?
Oh my god, the worst one in the whole fucking episode was that Millhouse Frisbee thing.
No,
it took so long.
That to me is an example of a good joke that turns bad, where Milhouse is just throwing a frisbee, it's landing on the ground, he's running and getting it when everyone thinks Bart's kidnapped.
Yeah.
But it just goes for so long.
He throws it 6 times
Yeah.
before any kind of
Like,
punchline.
Yeah, twice as funny. And I
Yeah.
do like his punchline of, I miss Bart. He used to watch me do this.
Yeah, he could have done that, but I mean, he could have done that after the second one or midway
Yeah.
through the second throw.
Yeah.
That's all we needed, and then he just kept going. I was like,
Yeah, to do it
This
over and over.
"It's not still going, is it?"
Well, think back to when Bart and Milhouse aren't allowed to be friends, and Milhouse is just on the seesaw jumping by himself.
Yeah.
And it's like he does it like twice, maybe 3 times, and it takes like a half second for each jump, and that's all that is, and it's a good quick punch to let you know, he's without Bart, he's lonely. And in this one, it's just throw the frisbee, go get frisbee, throw it again, times that by 6.
Yeah, it's the worst use of a rake joke, and like you feel very aware that it went on for like 30 seconds. Like,
Very poor joke.
what joke stood out to you, Jordan?
The concert as well.
Yeah.
It was a cavalcade of really bad stereotypes
Murder for life.
that I didn't like. Like Bart getting up on stage, and I was like wanting to rip my hair out, and he's like, "Yo, give me that mic back unless you know how to use it." I'm like, "No, please. Oh God, no."
Oh, he knows how to use it.
And then he starts rapping, and the woman in the audience is like, "Oh no, he didn't." It's
I
like,
can't believe
"Oh."
they did. Oh no, he did. And cliche.
Oh, he's straight tripping.
Which I think they're spelling the word D-I''N''T.
That's spelling.
Yeah, and speaking of uncomfortable rap jokes, something that stood out to me was the awkward Homer Marge fucking freestyle.
Yeah, that was
God,
bad. Where he's like, "Let me put this in terms you understand," and then gets Maggie to, and in like a rhythm, and it's like, but that makes no sense.
Also,
then-
I don't think they established the rhythm of Maggie's sucking to
No.
like really inform you that you knew that was going on.
Yeah,
No.
it was odd and made
Like,
no
I think
sense.
there would have been something simple, like if Maggie like had covered her mouth in the way that beatboxers do, that would have like just signaled that.
been a bit more of a clue that that's where we're going with this, and yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah.
then there still would have been a rap afterwards, and that still would have been so terrible.
And
that I
this is
wouldn't
one
have
of those
liked it.
things where, like, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do an awkward parent rap that was so white, but that's exactly what it was, and it was just awkward and fucking, like, my stomach was cringing. It wasn't a face cringe, it was a stomach cringe.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't, because they've been lame before in hilarious ways, like where Marge is like, "Oh, we can have a dance party right here. Every Simpson dance
Yeah.
now." I'll go.
Yeah.
That's kind of hilariously lame.
Next question, for better or worse, what story points stood out to you? Now, for me, when I said at the start there was a better episode in this, like, I liked the whole Police Chief Wiggum thing. I thought they
Yeah.
actually handled his character pretty well, and that was, like, a good turn where Lisa discovers the thing, and then everybody wants to be in on it.
Yeah.
But the one thing that stood out to me that was a failure of this episode is where they introduced the fact that Milhouse has a problem with his dad being in jail, of course,
Yep.
and then that is just forgotten after that scene.
Yeah, completely. Because that's what I thought was going to happen. They're going to be, look, Kirk's happy because he's getting attention because
Yeah.
he's in prison.
And he's desirable and everything, and
yeah.
he's getting food.
And he's getting more food. Yeah.
I liked that they had that sort of thing
Yeah,
with
yeah.
running with Kurt, where it's like, "Oh, you'll be put in a small, dirty jail cell." Well, not as small and dirty as this place.
yeah.
As this apartment, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that's where I was going to go, that everyone's happy, but, Milhouse is furious because Bart's just letting his dad's reputation get dragged through the
Yeah.
mud. And he's not going to understand, no, Dad's happier. He's going to be like, I want my dad back. And the fact that it didn't tie back to that just sucks. Like, it made so much more sense that was the point to hang it on.
Yeah.
And if he'd followed that and been all about, no, we have to get out the truth for his son's sake, because Kurt could be, look, even though I'm in prison, I'm getting fed better, I'm not going to ever see my son.
Yeah.
That could have been a real heart moment, but instead it just ends with a party.
Yeah, pool party.
They really kind of point out the ridiculousness of it
So
as well.
Kirk's still in jail then.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long you
Well,
get for kidnapping,
We
but
don't
it's-
know because there's a bit.
And Milhouse is still depressed.
This is going to kind of be true. Almost like an anal corner. Like, why the hell? Like they say, okay, we've got to go stop. The one person who would have the footage from
Mhm.
like releasing it,
Yeah.
and Kirk just goes with them,
yeah.
like out of the cell. And
Yeah.
I'm like, who was guarding this prison?
Yeah.
Who would just let him out? That's really
Well,
weird.
presumably he has to go back to it because that's where he was happy, so he's there for the next 5 to 10.
And I fucking hated that. I made a jacket with all our faces on it for this conspiracy that we're doing.
I kind of like that.
Really? Oh, okay.
just making commemorative things for things you have to hide. I enjoy that.
But
that
how
kind
did
of
he make it knowing that,
it was
that all four of those
Yeah.
people would be in on it, and it's kind of saved with the joke, you can never wear it, but they took a long road to get there.
Yeah.
Because it was 2 episodes in one. It was this sort of hip-hop story that was, shining a light on the industry, and also it was this Chief Wiggum gets promoted for finally doing his job story.
And they could have, doubled down on the rap story, and because there's a bit where they go, "Oh, do you want to join my tour?" And it's like, we could have had like a Lollapalooza kind of episode with Bart on this Murder for Life tour.
Yeah, why wasn't he keeping, if they're going to do this kidnapping story anyway, why aren't they keeping that up? Bart following these rappers on tour and constantly calling his parents and saying, "Oh yeah, they've got me now," and listen to the gun sound.
Well, it could even be like, he just calls mum and says, "Hey, you said I couldn't go to this concert, but now I'm touring with them. Look how successful I am without you losers."
Yeah.
That would have been fine as well. And then he eventually understands that, no, he needs his family. Okay, it could have just been a different episode.
So what story points stood out to you for better or worse?
Story points, I think we've already discussed my main one, which was, the whole Millhouse thing that just goes away.
Yeah.
I didn't get to point out the joke I liked, which was the names of some of the rappers going to be at Murder for Life, like the Glock Pointers and Champagne Millionaire.
Yeah. Did he have an IV with champagne directly into his veins?
Champagne Millionaire, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I like that as a name.
Yeah, actually, much like the Jazzy and the Pussycats episode, that was like how they had the good riff of funny jazz names. They had some good funny jazz. They had some good funny rap names.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. All right, play count. Have you seen this episode before today?
Indeed, I have.
How many times?
Probably the once, possibly the twice.
How about you, Jordan?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, I know I've seen this twice at least, because this is another one of the situations. Watched it back in the day, and then the reason why I watched it again was because of Worst Episode Ever. The podcast that only watches the bad episode of The Simpsons, trying to figure out which one's the worst episode ever. Go check it out. I appeared on it once.
Yeah.
And let's play a quick game. What did we, Worst Episode Ever, rank this episode? They've done 107 episodes so far. What number do you think it's ranked as?
56.
56? Jordan?
Ooh, I was going to say something like maybe 83.
83 out of 107.
As in, 107 is worse?
107 is the best of the worst.
Oh.
So number 1 is the worst episode.
Oh, okay. Then I am going to say 22.
22? 56?
Yeah.
Beach wins. It came in at number 40.
Oh, okay.
As of the today week.
Yeah, because this was not. I mean, it's honestly, they put a few more jokes into this. I would have enjoyed it a lot more. Plot wise, I think it works fairly well, despite the fact that it could have been better.
In spite of itself, definitely.
Yeah.
So the wackiness of the episode, the whole rap star thing. Yeah.
Dog eats the remote.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that bit at the start where Lisa fucking. Oh, every time the dog barks, it changes the channel. She saw that happen once.
Yeah, and just knows about it.
And then it happens a few more times. And then in the next cut to her, she goes, I think the dog swallowed the remote. And it's like, you already implied that you knew that based on one fucking... that was just so poorly fucking rolled out. 2 jokes,
wacky jokes I want to point out. So when Bart gets on stage and starts rapping, he starts rapping out Homer. For some reason, he just has his photo in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have that?
Yeah, and the thing I hate about that is, like, they've got no context for who Homer is.
Yeah, but they're all like, diss Homer, woo!
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Another example of a good to a bad joke is when he's riding in the massive stretch wrap pimped Hummer.
Yeah.
And he's like, and the guy's like, I got a wax museum down in the basement. I like there's a line, but then there's a staircase, and it's like, no.
And then it says the House of Wax, and it's like,
Yeah, just leaving that as a line, there's an implication there's a basement big enough for a wax museum. That was funny by itself.
In a low-riding limousine.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar vein to Bart having a picture. Like, Homer's looking for the remote, reaches into Marge's hair, and there's a framed picture of Lenny.
Weird.
I don't know what that's referencing.
Lenny.
But then he just throws it away and just doesn't mention it. Like, he knows it's there.
Yeah.
Very weird. And there's a mention of I know it's a joke, but it's like, that's the cheapest legal popcorn you can buy.
Yeah.
I'm like, legal popcorn? Is there illegal popcorn?
They're like, most of the kernels are teeth. Like, any worse, it just wouldn't be popcorn anymore.
It's
it would just be
all
like,
teeth.
So that's good. And I think that is a reference to if you're like get teeth hot enough, they will pop like popcorn.
Ew, that's going to terrify me to never smile in the sun again.
Yeah. I learned that on Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Okay, just a quick sign gag. Homer is reading Gravy Aficionado.
Oh,
That was
Oh
good.
yeah, the Browns are now in or something, or the new Browns are in.
a cubic zirconia joke in a to-be-determined ranking later episode. So as far as wacky moments in this episode, I don't think, besides the rap things where they were sort of playing with the wacky is in terms of their indulgence and everything, but again, it felt so awkward.
Yeah, I mean, this has been dwelt on numerous times before, but Skinner like pointing out, a second most wanted criminal after El Barto.
Yeah.
Whoever that may be.
And they point at the sign. They're literally pointing at it for about 2
Just
seconds.
pointing it out.
And I thought that this has really been done, but surely someone knows by now.
And another wacky bit at the end where Seymour, again, he's at the pool party for no reason. He's like, do you think you could use an administrator on your crew?
No, he was there because Lisa pulled him into it to bust Bart,
right.
and they went to Alcatraz to...
All right.
But yeah, I do like the bit...
To be fair.
The bit where they're watching the concert footage and they're like, well, maybe we could pinpoint the time, someone with a big clock, Flavor Flav style. It's like, but what date? And then there's the date on the chain.
Thursday the 20th.
I kind of like that, yeah.
But what about the heart? Like, for me, Marge was almost heartbreaking.
Yeah, I know. That was... And again, I thought that was going to be maybe a turnaround plot-wise where Bart's like, oh shit, I'm really upset, Mum.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't really... He just puts on Jiffy Pop for some reason.
Yeah, they don't. They just let that whole part of the episode fall by the wayside where you feel, they show Bart and he's feeling guilty about making his mum feel this way.
And then nothing really comes of it.
Yeah.
And in fact, we never find out what Marge thinks about all this. Because she obviously has to at some point find out this has all been a big conspiracy and he faked it. That would be devastating. That would be...
Well, especially because he antagonizes her as well. By
Yeah.
saying, they say, stop worrying, because if you worry too much, they'll kill me. And it's like, oh my God, what a terrible thing to say.
I think that's him trying to diffuse her, but not really know how. He's like, no, stop worrying, because otherwise you'll make it worse.
Yeah.
That'll stop her.
Yeah.
No, that was good, but then they didn't hit on how, that would have affected her, and then how, the two big heart moments with this episode were Milhouse and Marge, and they just fucked them off.
They vanish,
Yeah. Would you watch this episode again?
There's not really a reason to. It really,
No.
I'm going to, if I feel like just wasting half an hour, sure. I do that sometimes.
I wouldn't. No, I think I'd skip it. It's just... I'm trying to think of what was a good joke in there that I was like, I'd sit through this episode to watch it, just because it's like
I do really like the Wiggum plot line. I will say
that's the thing. Yeah, I liked what you were saying before. With this could have been really cool, like Wiggum trying to redeem himself in the eyes of the town. Like, I'm not a loser. I do know what I'm doing somewhat.
And until the conspiracy, he actually does a great job. Then it's like,
this was an annoying point I was going to make. Actually, was that he still figured out exactly who it was. It doesn't matter that the kidnapping was fake. He still determined Bart's location.
Yeah, but
using
as a police
skills.
officer, you would expect him to figure that out as well.
Yeah, but he did do it himself. It wasn't. He didn't get any help from anyone. He wasn't lazy. He was determined to do it, and he did it. And I think that was a really good plot point. But it was wasted.
And I felt like they took it in the natural direction, which is, it turns out that the thing that predicates his success now is compromised. So he's like, oh, fuck, I've got to protect this.
Yeah,
this is all I've got.
Now.
Yeah. And, he might not have another case like this fall into his lap to...
There's another thing that doesn't get set back to zero. He's still commissioner.
Yeah. Kirk's still in jail. He's still commissioner. Marge and Milhouse are still traumatized.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of loose ends there, episode.
This conversation makes me hate it more.
And this episode, as we said before, goes straight into there's something about marrying. So it's not like they even
they didn't improve,
No.
especially touching on touchy social issues.
Can we quickly take a trip to Jordan's Anal Corner? Because I have one, and I'm curious if it's the same as one you have. So
comparing anals.
Corners.
Why would Chief Wiggum frame those newspaper headlines?
It just implies that he knew he was in them, but didn't really read them.
Yeah, that's how the joke landed, and I actually liked that bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
What was your anal corner?
Yes.
Bart jumps out of his bedroom window, just jumps straight out.
Yeah.
He's on the second floor, and yet somehow he manages to lean back in and hug his crusty doll. It's like, are you hovering right now? Because normally he climbs on the tree, but he doesn't do it. He just leaps right out of it.
Yeah, like we saw in Bart versus Thanksgiving, there's the branch that comes out, and
I mean, he's gone out that window plenty of times, but it's always been, onto the tree. It's never just been jump straight out.
Maybe his hoodie is like a kind of a wingsuit.
Well, who's yelling wizard now?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say it, though. I was going to say they said, like, put down your Glocks or something like that, but then none of them are Glocks. Like, maybe there's 1 or 2 Glocks, but there's none. That's it.
But they're the Glock pointers.
Oh, and the shoes change color from white to, like, all colors. When they show the 200-inch plasma or whatever, and all the shoes around them are all white, and then they close in, and it's, they're all
zoom
colorful.
in more definition.
Yeah.
Wizard.
Yep. So what would you change about this episode? I know for me personally, I would change all the rap scenes. I'd just get rid of them.
Get rid of the rap itself.
Because it's actually a good episode about Chief Wiggum that is set up on bad foundation and then ends on bad foundation. It's just the second act of this episode is kind of good.
Yeah, I agree. The second act is really where the strength of this one is.
Yeah.
Just give it an actual ending and pull back in either Marge or Milhouse as your emotional anchor.
Yeah.
And you'd have so much more there. But instead it's just, it's a party at the end.
Yeah.
I think I'd get rid of that, like, Andy Griffith show, like, little thing
Ties
as well.
into the next question. The guest stars of this episode, Dana Gould actually played Barney Fife.
Oh, okay.
Who I don't get the reference, and
no one does.
This seemed it seemed like a reference that Dana Gould would get.
It's from the Andy Griffith show. But,
right.
Yeah, that's...
So, yeah, he was playing this cop who was giving Police Chief Wiggum some motivation in a dream sequence. And
well, that's weird. Isn't Wiggum awake then?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's lucid dreaming? What's that?
I guess.
Because they don't show it like, in the Who Shot Mr. Burns episode with the, like him drinking the warm milk.
Yeah,
and,
taking clearly occurring when he's asleep.
Yeah, they just show it on the TV and
then see it.
And then he calls attention to it by saying, like, what, you're a ghost now? And
yeah,
it was very strange. I would just remove that.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
And musical moments, I think we've gone over them already. Marge and Homer's awkward rap, the rap at the begin with Bart and Alcatraz on stage.
There was a music cue I really liked where when Homer burns the Murder for Life shirt that's evidence, and there's a dun dun music, and then he burns his own shirt. It's dun dun, and then he burns his own pants. It's dun dun.
Yeah, I did like that.
I do like how it just plays the same shocking music. Even though it gets dumber and dumber.
It does. And I think they kind of saved that joke with like Lisa relaying the story and Principal Skinner going, but why did he burn his pants? Like, I think it was kind of saved there, but
we kind of know
really.
Homer hates pants, though.
He does. Do you ever get tired of pants? Any other notes about this episode, BT?
I do like the headline, Wiggum rescues boy. No, really.
Yeah.
There's a weird bit where Homer gets stuck in the dog door and Patty and Selma show up, but they're coming through the back door for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they make up Homer and he's halfway through. He's like, oh, no. Am I pretty? Oh.
Yeah. No, I could do without that.
Jordan, any other final notes about this episode?
On the theme of this episode, it's kind of racist. Like, there's a bit where he mentions the Seminoles, which I know is names for sports teams.
Yeah.
But then he does like a weird kind of Native American like kind of chant, but in like saying something. I can't remember what it was.
Beat the spread.
Yeah.
He's kind of doing the what is it? Atlanta Braves Indian chop thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that is exactly. I only know that because I saw it like in Men in Tights. So I only vaguely know what that is.
But then,
tights.
Like Alcatraz calls someone Bart a yellow cracker.
Yeah, that was particularly awkward. And then he had his sign-off line, which was, we're going to go murder those who oppose us. Peace. And again, this feels like such middle-aged white guy writing
and really
something I know nothing about.
Like, hey... this is what rap people do.
Yeah.
So it's going to just fuck with the stereotype.
You know what would have been kind of fun is they did like the Wayne's World Alice Cooper backstage bit where they're all just, oh, hello, young man. Can we help you with anything?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's all just stage persona. We actually speak properly behind stage.
In fact, the noble native tribe of this area was, they pronounced it Milwaukee, which is El Gotham for the good land.
A couple of like quick sign gags really quickly. Outside Milhouse's room, little thing where it's saying Milhouse's room every Wednesday and alternate Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. I just, okay, I'll pay that.
Oh, just a weird sign one was the water credits.
Yeah, an odd choice.
With the water splashing and actually that was a joke I'd remove as well. Homer's like, sometimes the only thing is cannonball. And
that whole ending can fuck off.
It's all very sexy party. Fuck it so much. All right, quick fire mentions about this episode. I do like when Homer loses the remote and he yells out, "Okay, this is not a drill." I feel
It's
like
lost.
as a frequent remote loser myself.
Yep.
The salad of the Christ. See, this was the thing that was put in between the Lisa explaining what had happened and felt uncomfortable and shoehorned in. They kind of looked like the Veggie Tales as well.
No, that's what they were going for, yeah.
Yeah.
Marge had a good line about hip-hop, which was then undercut by her performing hip-hop. But the good line anyway, which was, this music promotes violence.
No, promotes punching, boastfulness, and disrespect to hoes.
Which, no, that was a good line, but then was undercut by the thing that she went into a freestyle afterwards.
I do like promotes boastfulness.
Yeah.
There was a weird bit about Chalmers' sick wife.
Yeah, that was the last line of the episode where Skinner's all, "Do you have a need for a educational professional here?" And he's like, "Yeah, we do. We already got one though." And then Chalmers like, "I think they're making fun of me, but my wife is very sick." And it's like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, that doesn't make you feel good about watching this episode.
No.
Yeah, it could have just been, "I know they're making fun of me, but the money is good."
Yeah.
Did they end the second act with Bart going, "Ay caramba"?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was the tombstone joke. I was going to mention that as well, where, they had the tombstone with a joke, proud D student or whatever, and then he goes, "I caramba," off camera. It was
Bad.
badly staged and bad joke itself. Homer going, NWA stands for not without arse welts. How clunky is that?
Yeah,
really
you could literally hear
as they're jamming it in there without the appropriate lubricant.
They're just smacking it in with a hammer.
They did Wiggum's verbal kind of joke of, "All right, bratty hearse."
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Homer's joke as well when Bart throws the brick in the window and he goes, "A flying rock, call a geologist."
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was all right.
Not as good as Mr. Burns' line a few seasons ago of, "So there's a bird has come petrified and lost its sense of direction."
No, that was excellent. This was actually a great joke that turned shitty for me, where Bart goes, "I need to go somewhere to escape the heat or something.
Mm-hmm.
I need to avoid the heat."
Yeah.
And Milhouse goes, "Oh, you can come to my house. The heating's always off."
Yeah, it was all right.
But then he goes, "See, look, my dad made a coat out of stuffed animals."
Yeah, and again, he also has a photo of Kirk. Is carrying a photo of your dad something people do that I shouldn't?
It's a Springfield bylaw.
Yeah, where's your photo of the Wolfman?
I have that upstairs. It's fantastic.
It should be in your wallet. If you've learned nothing else from this episode.
Your back
Yeah,
pocket,
my brother and I
apparently.
really want to do like a Andy Warhol multicolored.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd work.
I liked the joke of Wiggum going, "I'm going to hit the bottle," and he's hitting a bottle of maple syrup.
Yep.
And then he fell asleep in his flapjacks.
We've all been there.
He stumbles upon a clue and he goes, "I need you guys to go to the Quickie Mart. We've already been there." I didn't mind that one as well.
Yeah, we've already been there twice. This time it's not personal.
All right, let's rank this thing, Jordan.
I don't know if I hated it enough as some of the other ones that I've given failure. That's the only thing. But I feel bad giving it a participant.
You give it whatever you want, man. It's your ranking.
Come back to me in a few seconds.
BT.
I'm on participant. Maybe I'm insensitive and I'm just not offended enough to really hate it.
Yeah.
I think the plot, it could have been bronze. Hell, it could have even been silver if they tied the plot in better, but they just didn't. That bugs me a lot. That makes me angry after almost fail it, but I don't care enough. It's
Fair enough.
Yeah, not a whole lot of jokes, but I do like the plot structure that is there. I do really like the Wiggum storyline, and that's what makes me wish it was better, because what is there I do like fairly well. It just had so much more potential. It's a participant. It's fine.
Yeah, see, for me, the second act, what I said before, really, that was the moment I knew what I'm ranking this thing, because this was a bronze, maybe even silver second act that was just bookended by fucking failure. And so this is an instance for me where the highs and lows totally even out into participant. That's where I'm at. Jordan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and agree with you. I think participant. It's not all bad. That middle act does kind of save it from, gives it a little bit of redemption.
All right.
Yeah. So let's go with that.
All right, well, no need to see what it'll be paired with because it'll be paired with the last episode. And now we need to decide on the next episode. DM, could you please pull out your dice?
I'll be using my ThinkGeek chainmail dice bag, available from thinkgeek.com for all your thinky, geeky stuff.
You like the way that sounds? That sound could be in your hands.
It could be indeed. Okay, I'm going to roll my d6 here. A 1.
Ooh.
All right. This is committing the sin of adding a pointless backstory. What is the equivalent of that on our 7 deadly sins?
That is gluttony, just shoving in more story where you do not need it.
Oh, it is very gluttonous. We are going back to season 13 to watch the Blunder years, which introduces Smithers' dad.
Oh, I know this one. It's fucking awful.
Great.
Yes, I'm going to get angry.
We'll be back. And we are back, and we just watched season 13, episode 5, The Blunder Years. It was first released back in December of '01, and it was written by Ian Maxtone Graham. In this episode, after Homer goes to see a mentalist or whatever, and
Hypnotist.
a hypnotist that makes him relive memories of being a 12-year-old, Homer starts screaming and screaming, reliving a past trauma, to which we find out that at one point in his life, Homer found a corpse in a quarry. Guys, what did you think?
I did not care for it.
Yeah, this is part of when you can see there's still hints of the classic era, but the new style has taken over.
Well, in this one, I'll say there were more jokes that I liked, but the story I hated.
Yeah. It's almost like you think it's supposed to be Homer's backstory, but then it just, at the very end, it switches and it's like, oh, this is actually about Smithers.
Yeah. That's something that bugs me is that, they have a sort of a Stand By Me visual reference of young Homer, Lenny, and Carl walking on the train tracks. But if they'd stayed in like a Stand By Me thing, which is all about going to see a dead body, that might have worked a lot better. But it was just this few little really bad jokes that didn't really work terribly well, and then it just finds a corpse and screams, and I really don't like the plot on this one.
Yeah, see, that to me, like, sparks up, what would you change, is like, I would have absolutely run with the Stand By Me thing and not, like, as unceremoniously as they dumped Lenny, Carl, and Moe in this episode. Instead of doing that, run with the concept, and it, at this stage, doesn't matter that you're doing, like, a first act hard left turn away from the original plot. If the rest of it was like a Stand By Me parody, I thought that would have played a lot better than what actually did.
But if you lose the first act, you'll miss out on Marge getting hot and heavy for the guy on the burly absorbent paper towels.
Yeah, they really handled that poorly. I just didn't get what Homer's motivation was.
Yeah,
like, my wife wants to cheat on me with this guy.
Wasn't even that. It was just, ooh, you think if they'd gone with, you think he's all handsome and rugged and things, I'm going to make you look stupid. I don't know. It wasn't even that. It was just she wrote a letter to this mascot, and now he's gonna make her look like an idiot.
Yeah.
This is the guy who wrote fan letters to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock.
Yeah. I mean, look, if Homer was smart, he would have gotten in that burly outfit because Marge would have been totally into it.
Marge digs herself some cosplay.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the jokes with the burly thing, that didn't play. None of that played for me. The only bit that really played was when they brought back the burly towels at the end.
Yeah.
And it's only made by the line of Chief Wiggum going, "Oh, that is so cool," as the big paper towel spools absorb all the water.
I did like the name Chad Sexington.
Yeah.
The bit I liked about it was like, look what happens when I spill this blue liquid.
Yeah.
It was like,
a weird allusion to every tampon ad ever.
Well, yeah, but also because water is always blue in cartoons, and
But unfortunately, that wasn't improved by the fact that Lisa goes, "Why did you pull me out of school for this?" Like, it did nothing for the joke that Marge had done this. Like,
Marge does get excited over household things.
Yeah.
Like, we know that, but this is just an extrapolation of that. It goes too far.
She reads Sponge and Vacuum. We know that.
Until she starts getting the allure of death sports. So, first question, for better or worse, what jokes stick out to you from this episode?
One I didn't mind was when they're like, who can solve this? The Simpsons. And Moe's kind of awkwardly going, oh,
yeah,
well, I'll head off then. Like, we can come if you want. Like, no. Like, you know.
Sounds like it's just a family thing, so.
And then Marge cuts in, oh, thanks for understanding.
Oh. Okay then.
Yeah.
Well, and I liked him like kind of up against the glass, and I wrote down I liked the foley of him like his hand and his face like squeaking against the glass as well. Then them just like waving at him from out the window.
Yeah, so that's a weird example of a good joke that led to a story beat that I hated them doing.
Yeah.
Which is dropping Lenny and Carl and Mo. And then having Police Chief Wiggum, what are you doing here? Like, it was a weird trade-off to him that didn't really pay off either.
No, there's no. I suppose then you get him
saying that's so cool,
being the authority to accuse Mr. Burns, but
yeah.
it doesn't fly terribly well because he's just satisfied that Burns just disposed of the body that way. It was like, no, the law should be really more worried about that.
Yeah.
Okay, the joke I did like is when Homer's drinking the like memory tea, and it's like, oh yeah, remembering I'm jumping over Springfield Gorge. Dad, everyone's tired of that memory.
No, that was a good moment.
Yeah, it was a good like non-flashback take. Like,
yeah.
We're gonna go back to the. No, we're not.
Because they do the starting. I'm gonna make it, and then Lisa cuts off the memory part of the way through. The joke that stuck out to me as a good joke, I just thought I'd mention it because I feel like we're about to rip into this episode. I like Carl's thing. Have you heard of this thing called the internet? The internet of the swim trunks.
And then later on, I think I just logged on to my internet. It's so bad, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
When he first said it, I was like, hold on. When is this supposed? This is like set in the 60s. Are they going to talk about, DARPA net or some, like, what are they going to talk? And then I was like, oh, okay. Fair enough.
Misdirect.
I thought that was pretty good.
I'll give you that one.
But better or worse, what story point stuck out for you?
The entire third act.
Yeah. The
Like,
whole Smithers reveal and everything was
so
dumb.
pointless.
Yeah, I quite like this episode up until there's a bit where when they bump into Police Chief Wiggum, and he goes, who is that? It's like, it's us, the Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's like, from that point on, everything is downhill. Everything was up until then. Yeah, it has some good laughs. It has a plot that, again, I wish we kind of stuck with the Stand By Me bit, but from this point on, it's all downhill, and it just gets worse.
Fair enough. Jordan?
Yeah. The Mesmerino bit, it was fine to kind of unleash the thing, but there was a second part of his where he's like collecting his post outside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did you even include that in the...
They're doing like a Karnak bit, and it's like, come on, Johnny Carson had already been off the air for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Fucking let it die.
Also, he's a hypnotist, not a psychic. So.
Yeah, he was just wearing the turban.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to jump on that. I thought that was a really shitty performance. I think it was Hank Azaria again. Whoever played Mesmerino, that voice was really inconsistent, and that is something I do not say often in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It was very like... just generic New Yorker kind of, and I was like, I've done a couple of them. I think because maybe we've watched a couple in succession.
Yeah.
It's like whenever we need like, hey, we need it's like, okay, Hank Azaria, like just put on a kind of your voice that you do. And
yeah, but it sounded like 3 different of his voices.
Yeah,
like,
true.
he gave like a couple of takes over the phone or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of voices, was it just me or did Smithers Sr. sound Frinkish? Had some Frink to him when
because I guess he was a bit more nasal.
Yeah.
And actually, they did a redux of the Frink joke. The ring-a-ding-ding. Hey, dollface, come and swallow that gum. Meet me in the bathroom in 3, 2, 1. See, I liked it, but I kept thinking the whole time, you've done it.
And it just took so long to get there when he transforms one way, then the other.
I didn't get that. Like, is it supposed to be that he's so smart that he can understand what's happening to him, but he has no control over it?
You're already overthinking it. It's just because, Glavin is just, they think that's funny.
Yeah. Well, to me, the funny part of that joke is, oh, no, don't send me back to the way I was, And I thought they handled that okay, but, like, it was a long road to get there.
Yeah.
The story point that sticks out for me, and which kind of ruins the second act for me, is Homer's relentless screaming. And I know it's part of the plot and he needs to have this, but god damn, it goes on for so long and it's so annoying.
I do kind of like when he's screaming as, he's getting the valet back. And he's screaming when he's, just going through, brushing his teeth.
Yeah, so I like the teeth brush, the valet. Thank you. It was.
I think it was, to me, the indifference of the rest of the family. Like, not even. I get it because they wanted to do a joke like, look, he's still going. Look, we're going to show the scene.
Whoa, he's still mental.
But none of the. And Marge is even like just.
Pulls the pillow over her head.
Like, oh, God, it's so annoying.
Rolls him over the couch and.
Do you actually care at all? Like, honestly.
Yeah.
And she only cares about Burley.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Chad Sexington.
So there's a little bit of that other sin of, like, I don't know if it's not over-sexualizing Marge. It's, I don't know. What did you guys think of the Burley thing?
I don't know, it's kind of like, she's just so caught up in the fantasy.
Yeah.
But it is odd that she thinks a mascot is a person enough to write to him.
Yeah, that's a Homer move, to write to the movies.
And buy a bunch of the product as well to like stack around the home. And
because when she writes to them, they're not saying, is your burly mascot actually a model, or is it, she even says, are you a composite or are you a caricature or something like that? And it's like, you already know this isn't a thing. I don't know. It was odd. You could have cut that, spent more time in Stand By Me.
Especially because like we know what she's like about her idols and stuff, because we've seen the Ringo episode. You know, she likes them, but she's not like dreamily obsessing over them every minute of the day and buying like a bunch of Ringo merchandise or anything.
Yeah. And unlike in the Ringo episode where that played into the story, the whole burly thing only played in at the end when they needed to drain a massive amount of water from a quarry. It could have been fucking anything other than the burly thing, which they spent so much of the first act setting up, have it to be dropped at the wayside once they go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, it started out as a Marge has a crush on a fictitious character story into a Homer story.
Yeah, they just needed a way for Homer to screw up so that
Because before I realized which episode this was and where we were going, I was like, okay, maybe there's going to be a thing about how like lonely Marge is, and it's going to be, we're going to develop from that. But no, it just turned into a Homer story.
So play count. How many times have you seen this episode before tonight?
Probably twice.
I don't think I have.
Yeah?
No.
I've actually seen it a bunch, and I kept doing, and I said to myself, oh my God, how do you keep doing this? Remember where this episode starts. Because once the screaming kicks in, I'm like, oh, it's this fucking episode.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure which one we were doing until we got to the hypnotist bit.
Yeah.
Mesmerino.
So, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I'm going to say no, because it retcons so goddamn hard that it feels like it's betraying itself.
Yeah, it's retconning Homer and Smithers. And a bit of Lenny and McCarlin,
Yeah.
But yeah, integrity-wise, like, I don't think anyone was aggressively off, but yeah, the show was just delving into the backstory for no good reason.
For no good reason. It didn't have to be Smithers' dad. It could have been any employee.
The world of The Simpsons is not improved by knowing that, Smithers had a dad that worked at the power plant, that Mr. Burns tossed his body into the corpse hatch.
I mean, innocent tube. I did like that joke.
But are we now to believe that Mr. Burns raised Smithers?
Yeah.
This is what I'm getting at. And how creepy is that then, that Smithers has a thing for what is essentially his father figure?
Yeah. And raised him to be essentially his indentured servant.
I know. It just gets weirder and weirder with each layer.
Yeah.
So as we talk about the integrity...
Sorry, I just realized there's a continuity error, because when Smithers is coming out of the burlesque house, Mr. Burns goes, Smithers, he goes, my parents insisted I try it. Parents, plural. And Mr. Burns didn't know about it.
Yeah, good point.
There we go. But yeah, there's some awkward... I don't know if you're backsplaining or whatever, explaining past story, whatever, that Mr. Burns had told Smithers that his father actually died by a bunch of savage Amazon women.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm sorry for that lie. I wonder if it ever affected you. I guess we'll never know. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I guess this is why I'm gay. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So much boo.
That dropped so many points for me at that point. It was just,
So, yeah, and this is one of those things where all the careful, delicate tightrope walking that they did addressing Smithers' homosexuality back in the classic years is undone in this fucking moment.
Yep.
So the wackiness of this episode, bedoing?
Well, Homer's dead.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, he as a young man, he jumps into nothing but mud from quite high up.
Yeah.
Long enough to go, oh no, splat. That's a long fall distance.
It's at least he's 5-6 seconds in the air, so you can assume it's probably about 100 meters up or something. Straight dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, the fact that it was weird because he was undergoing hypnosis, and look, I don't know a lot about hypnosis, but it seemed like more he was making him hallucinate. And like, I don't know if that is like hypnosis as such, but it was a bit like...
Hypnotist right in.
Well, they touched on an interesting thing, and it is a known concept in hypnotism that you can only make someone do, as much as their brain already knows. Yeah. So, like, that's why I liked the joke where, now you're Emily Dickinson, and he goes, I'm Andy Dickinson, get out of my way, look at me.
You're a famous historian.
I'm a famous historian, get out of my way, look at me. Yeah. See, that makes sense, because Homer, he doesn't know, but his brain has been fed the information that he has to be this thing, and he just dives into it with enthusiasm without exactly knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I did like the crowd kind of politely clapping, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like after
Good
he
Emily
did that.
Dickinson.
Yeah.
So the whole revealing a 12-year-old's trauma thing, I think that's it's kind of believable in this wacky hypnotist scenario.
Yeah.
No, but this episode is something where the wackiness is not so much in the Looney Tunes boring moments. It's actually more in the leaps of logic that it forces you to make. Like, another thing that I thought was actually really wacky is Homer is super traumatized by finding this corpse. And then they go to the same quarry, find the skeleton, and then their kids are fine about it. Like, surely seeing a skeleton, it's got to be pretty confronting.
Probably, although I think with the corpse because it lands on him, and there's
rotting.
maggots crawling out of the face.
It looks at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It quietly says in his mind, I am your future.
Yeah.
But then Homer being a jerk to Lisa, now do you believe me that dead rats float? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Why take the kids?
Yeah, why didn't you bring the adults that would be handled?
Finding a corpse when I was 12 traumatized me. Let's bring the kids to find the corpse when they're 8 and 10.
But at least they know in advance.
It's true.
It's
true.
Not gonna be
No
a
surprise corpse.
Yeah.
So how about the heart of this episode? Did you feel the bumps?
What heart?
It was as cold and dead as Smithers' dad.
Ooh, damn.
Hey.
There's a tiny moment where Smithers is like, I guess I know it's nice knowing he died a hero.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I was going to say about baby Smithers. Like, oh, you're a baby. How's that going for you? Yeah. Grabs his nose and does that.
Cute.
Yeah, not really.
No, this episode was anti-hard. It was mean to Marge. It had no fucking resolution to that. And then it was mean to Smithers. And now he just goes along in the future knowing that his boss was covered up his father's death.
It was all the rage at the time.
Yeah. And then they bring Chief Wiggum into the story and he effectively does nothing about it anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
That kind of shows incompetence as well where he's like, well, what are you guys doing out here? And like, oh, we're investigating a murder. He's like, oh, can I come? I'm really good at them.
Kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
No.
Nope.
Neither. What would you change about this episode?
Again, third act. I think a lot, it's just everything caves after that. We're the Simpson family. And just everything after that.
You know what it would have been better is, I know they wanted to do the joke about, this is just a Simpsons family thing.
Yeah.
But have it as Homer, Carl, Lenny, and Moe going back to find the body.
Yeah.
Which is what it should have been.
Yeah.
Since you've said that, I keep thinking, yes, this whole Stand By Me angle would have been the one to follow with this episode.
Yeah. I guess it's more like an It thing, because we're like, you come back as adults to kind of...
I do want to make the prediction that one of the future Treehouse of Horror is going to be an It, but with Krusty as It.
Oh.
I don't know what it's going to be called.
Krusty Wise.
Tit.
Tit. That's funny. It's a funny word. There's just too much about this episode. I cut it out. Just fucking cut all this.
Get rid of most of the Burley stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have done a lot more interesting stuff because the Burley stuff was only there to get them to a fancy restaurant. Which doesn't even make sense. The Pimento Groove doesn't do that kind of, stuff.
No, and it was a way to make up to Marge for them being so relentlessly mean, and she just forgives them in 2 seconds because of it's a cheap act that they've done, and she, unsatisfying.
Yeah. You know what? You can cut that down to a tiny bit. It's like, oh, we're going for a fancy dinner. How can we afford this? Oh, Marge cut a bunch of coupons and won a competition for free paper towels for life.
Yeah.
Our paper towel budget is going to this dinner, so enjoy it, kids.
Oh, and imagine that, and they're tipping like a valet in paper towels.
I can imagine you can even have a few jokes of Marge flirting with the thanks Burley, that kind of thing. But yeah, you didn't need the rest of it. I think that was a bit silly.
No, it was way too dragged out. Guest stars for this episode. Paul Newman did play himself in this.
Wow, really?
I did like that bit as well, though. I'll tell you what I told Redford.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Homer's looking for his equivalent of the burly man.
Yeah.
He looks to Paul Newman.
As we all have done in our time.
Oh, man. What a dreamboat.
And Joe Mantegna as Fat Tony.
Okay.
In the context of the Stand By Me thing, that was fine, but the whole wacky tobacco thing, I don't really think much of that.
Well,
material.
it's weird because he's like, well, you've come across our secret crop of wacky tobacco. They hadn't even noticed until they pointed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're going to beat you up. Yeah, it was just...
Yeah.
Eh.
Again, they could have been the hoodlums out of Stand By Me, but no!
And in the weird moment where the episode grinds to a halt, where they're having that musical guest, Judith Owen, by the way.
Okay, yeah, it lingered on her long enough for me to know that was supposed to be a thing, but never drew attention.
But they never said, thank you to our guest star this week, musical guest Judith Owen. Like,
Which bit was that?
She's playing piano at the Pimento Groove.
Judith Owen.
and they're
I
like,
didn't know who that was.
and they're, yes, focusing the song, cutting out all the other special effects and focusing on her. And it's just a weird moment where the episode grinds to a halt, but they never introduce her or anything.
No.
So it feels really weird.
I guess you were supposed to know, and I was like,
I don't.
Is it Jewel? No, she plays guitar. Like, who is that?
I don't think it had any other musical moments, no songs or anything. No.
That whistling, the Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that was a reference to
Bum, bum,
Stand
bum,
By
bum.
Me when they sing something else.
No, I haven't seen it for a long time, but I don't think so. I think it was just, it's the 50s or some kind of era where this song was popular more than ever.
And we sung a cappella,
This one.
like for friendly fellas. So, BT, any other notes?
Yeah, I mentioned it when we were watching the episode where it's like,
Yeah?
Mr. Burns goes, oh yes, that's the corpse of Waylon Smithers Sr. And Lisa just goes, Mr. Smithers' father? And it's like,
Yeah.
no shit!
Thank you, Lisa Simpson, the
Oh yeah.
little girl who answers the question nobody asked.
Yeah, a little bit of an anal corner as well. Again.
Oh.
Mr. Burns puts in the footage of the day Waylon Smithers Sr. died,
Yep.
and it's like being shot from different angles, and at one
Yes.
point it's from inside the reactor
Yes.
where he's dying.
Yeah.
It's like, who is shooting this?
Yeah. I was going to say that's the only thing he has in his little wall safe as well,
Yeah.
is that reel of film.
Yeah, and they're not even giving context for why they're filming. It was like,
Yeah.
these may be my last moments, so I'm going to record them. That would have been enough, but it's
So,
like...
yeah, it wasn't even believable security found footage because this would have been from like the 40s or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
When Chad Sexington calls and is like, we'll do dinner tonight at 7. She goes, great. And they hang up and it's like, where? You didn't say where. You didn't say it was going to be at your house. They just
Yeah.
True.
And the last thing is the skull keeps changing size.
Yeah.
It's really
Oh,
weird.
really?
It keeps like how do you explain this? And I think it's Lisa or Bart
Bart's
has it.
holding it,
And
yeah.
it's huge. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like the crystal skull
Yeah.
size.
Like Bart could fit his head inside it.
But then later when Homer puts it in the box, it's like a little toy skull. It's like, it just fits in a tiny little chest.
Mm-hmm.
I was going, what the hell is going on there? There's no consistency there at all.
Yeah. Okay, just my quick fire notes. When Homer is looking around at all the mascots, see Paul Bettman, and he looks at Mama Celeste.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
I cut you.
Yeah. It felt uncomfortable to me.
Yes.
Oh, she'll cut you, man. I don't know.
When Homer calls up Marge as Chaz Sexington, she asks, how did you get this phone number? And he goes, I don't know. Very reminiscent of, okay, Mr. Burns, what's your first name?
Nice.
Yes. Very true.
And there was another one where they like tread on old ground, which was Homer's was like, oh, the quarry is just a stone's throw away. And Lisa's like, stop saying that, Dad.
Yeah.
I felt like they've done that joke like 5 times now.
Have
Have
they?
We're about to reach a destination. Yeah, stop saying that.
I feel like it was more him being folksy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
the old swimming hole, just a stone's throw away.
I
And
thought it was a joke about the quarry. Like it was
It was
he
where you
came
throw
up with that.
stones,
Well, no, because like a quarry is where you mine
Yeah.
stones and like,
Throw them at
Yeah.
people.
well, you can. It's possible.
What quarries are for?
And he just thought, this is one of the best jokes I'll ever come up with, so I'm going to say it 4 or 5 times.
There you are, Homer, the smartest thing you'll ever say, and no one was around to hear it.
There was an arrogant, annoying Dan Castellaneta Homer where he was like, ha ha ha, ha ha, zing, what's a Skeletor?
Mm.
And audience at home, if you haven't watched the episode, Homer laughed for like 5 times longer than that.
Yes.
Such a bad joke as well.
Yes.
I liked the visual of Marge ironing Bart's clothing and then like shuffling them like a deck
Yeah.
of cards.
That was good.
That's Bart's clothes done for a week, like calling attention to the fact
Yeah.
that he wears
They're
the
all the
exact
same,
same thing every day.
Totally. What did you guys think about the Yaki tea as well?
Oh, Moe's. That's some good yaki tea.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
not arrogant enough, Jordan.
Oh, sorry.
That's some good Yaki tea. Like, it was
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. It is very left field because Lisa's like, oh, I have this tea that's meant to help you loosen regressed memories.
Oh, then I can finally use my Yaki tea set.
But
Yeah.
because they didn't, if they would have fucked it up more if they had like, I don't know, the sound of Native American instruments playing when they drank it or something like
Yeah.
that. or because it was just a means to an end and they didn't draw too much attention to it, it was fine.
But then Mo comes in and goes, "Give me some of that Indian memory tea."
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what goes on. Oh, you mean the time he lost his,
Whatever.
And I kind of liked Mo's thing. Oh, well, I know the explanation for this. He got muddy one day. No one likes to be muddy. Can you imagine? Like that? I thought that was a fun explanation. When they do find out that, Homer found this corpse, I kind of like this joke. Oh my God, that was it. Yeah, I found a corpse. That explains my occasional overeating and my fear of corpses.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was, I'll let it pass.
I'll let it pass too. I really didn't like the whole Marge and Lisa's thing. I suspect murder afoot. Murder most foul?
Yeah,
Why?
You didn't need to be included at all.
No. I didn't actually mind Burns' stuff in the whole Waylon Smithers Sr. death recording. What is that alarming sound? Why are these dials up to 10? And
alarming sound.
And then, look at your dad pulling funny faces, shedding all his hair, dropping to the ground. Oh.
Lying completely still.
Yeah.
And I like how he pulls him down from the hatch.
Yeah, stop looking. All right, well, let's rank this thing. Jordan?
It's so hard because I'm like, I know it's only been 3 episodes, but already I'm forgetting what a failure feels like. I'm just wondering if anything is going to be above participant. It's a participant max. I'm not sure if I would give it a failure. It's boring. And it's stupid. But I don't think it's stupid enough for me to give it a full failure, so I think I'll go participant for this one.
Yeah, I'm going a participant as well. I just feel like if one more element came together, it'd actually be a bronze, because to be fair, there are actually some decent jokes in this, but ultimately it's weighed down by its bullshit story and committing the sin of the pointless retcon. BT, what do you reckon?
Yeah, this definitely has the best jokes of an episode we've seen so far tonight. I'm going to fail it, however, because I hate that third act. Yeah. I hate this is Waylon Smithers Sr. That's a character we've never mentioned before, and that's why Waylon now has apparently been raised by Mr. Burns and is now indentured to him, and it's that relationship is so much more confusing and disturbing and gross now. And the whole, I told you your father was murdered by Amazonian women, and that's why you hate women, and that's why you're gay now. And it's like, no, everything about the end, like up until that particular point of where I've mentioned it twice now.
Yeah.
Before they searched the quarry, I was fine. I was like, that's a bronze maybe, but everything from that just swan dove into needles.
Fair enough. All right, well, this will become a dull participant all around. This will join such episodes as the recently reviewed Break My Wife Please and The Kids Are All Fight, also Havana Wild Weekend, Whiskey Business, Penny Wise Guys, Eternal Moonshine of the Simpson Mind. Yeah, this is definitely a dull participant.
This makes sense, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it's time to do our 4th episode for the evening.
Oh, can we do a D4?
DM?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be rolling with my level up dice, my amethyst gemstones. Really do recommend checking them out if you love your tabletop gaming. They're an Australian company. I love what they do. They're not paying me to say this. I just legit love them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it is number 3. Again, that's 3 threes tonight.
Yeah. 3 threes. Okay, third down on our list. 1, 2, 3. All right. This is an episode that is committing the sin of being relentlessly and unfairly mean to a character.
Oh, fun.
And this will be season 18's The Boys of Bummer. We'll be right back. Alright, and we are back, and we just watched Season 18, Episode 18, The Boys of Bummer. It was written by Michael Price and first released in April of 2007. In this episode, Bart misses catching a fly ball in a game of baseballs, and all the town doesn't like him because of that. And also, Homer gets a new job as a mattress salesman, but runs into some trouble when Helen and Reverend Lovejoy become his new clients, who then want his bed because it's good to fuck on. Guys, what did you think?
It certainly exists.
Yeah. It is.
This was bad, man.
It is an episode that I can do without.
Yeah, this was just...
To call it bad gives it too much.
Really? Because, okay, not only was the town really mean to Bart, but, yeah, this whole subplot of... the Lovejoys and the Simpsons mattress. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I
Really?
like that. Yeah, it's stupid, but it's kind of fun.
Should we mention as well, this is brought to you by the sin of wrath, which is all about they are so
Hating
the whole
on one
town,
character.
Yeah, they're just so mean. Like, they've been mean to people before, but this is beyond anything I've seen before in a Simpsons episode.
I don't want to Google it, but I guarantee you something like this has happened. Where it's been like a
sure.
college football and someone's fucked up and the whole town has
Yeah.
just tried to kill them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so this is a note that I wrote, is that in this episode, like, Curb Your Enthusiasm did a better job of, they had a baseball player, an actual player, who did famously miss catching a ball,
Mm-hmm.
and then he redeems himself at the end of the episode by catching a baby who's been thrown out of a burning building.
Yeah.
And, like, they handled that really good, but they did basically the same thing here, where they meet a famous baseball player at a convention who was famous for missing,
Yeah.
and then when he misses catching Bart's dead. Like, oh god, fuck
Yeah.
this episode.
Even I'm thinking about Ice Town costs Ice Clown his crown town. Like,
Yeah.
I think the town like hates him, and when they invite him back just to like shit on him, they're
Yep.
still not as mean as the town are to Bart over like a sports thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I might actually be hating this episode more because this is our 4th episode
Oh,
so
God.
far.
Yes.
Walking through the wasteland, man. Come
And-
on.
Oh man, I'm already feeling delirium from some of the toxic fumes.
Come on. I'm going to shout more unless you start it. Just come on. You're halfway through the desert,
I
man.
can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Damn it. You will. Get your shit together, Elliot.
Okay.
Get a
Okay.
get a handy bag, get a shovel, and get your shit together.
Okay. I needed that. Thank you.
No.
Ow. Okay. That was the one that I needed. For better or worse, what stood out of the story for you guys?
Oh God, that Lovejoy sex subplot could just go to hell. Like, Jesus, that was just really gross. Actually, I mean, look, I get it. Couples have sex. Every couple has sex.
Not every couple.
Well, no, that's very true. Actually, I shouldn't.
Shout
be
out
so-
to our asexual fans.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
And those
mean
in loveless marriages, what up?
You may not love each other, but we love you.
Platonically.
But yeah, like I don't know what it was about it. Maybe it was the weird creepiness of just the sounds that the Lovejoys was making
Yeah.
when like Homer turned around and they were just making out on his bed,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of teenagers at a drunken house party. But yeah, just
And
every
then when
part
they
about it.
Did that weird Benny Hill bit that was done with mariachi music? Was that
That was
like
the Kill Bill like music.
it's Flight of the Bumblebee, isn't it?
No, it's that
Hey, bit in Kill Bill where she's on the motorcycle. It's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but it was weird because it was done to this Benny Hill thing with Helen Lovejoy running
Yeah.
up and down the like
It was
didn't pay
almost
off.
like a video game, like pixels with the like them just like moving like frames.
Yeah, because in the way she picked up Reverend Lovejoy and put him in the car, it made it look like he was like a 2D card.
Two-dimensional,
Yeah.
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 So what stood out of the story for you, BT?
Nothing.
For better or worse?
Nothing.
Oh wow, that empty.
Sorry, it does make me want to have sex on half a mattress behind a billboard. Add that to my
Really? With a hobo watching you?
my
Like,
bucket fuck list.
I
mean-
knew you people to make it. You got fat.
Yeah, jiggling his belly.
Cardboard
Ugh.
cut out of a hobo. That'd be fine. I'm not gonna lie. I might be drunk enough right now that everything is fun.
Well, yeah, but I mean that was another joke of like I liked the hobo thing. Yeah, I knew you kids would make it. I just didn't need the next line of "Ooh, you got fat."
Yeah.
Another problem I have with the mattress storyline is that the episode is solved within the scenes that it appears. It's like a 3-beat story that also jumps some wild beats in the scenes that it's in, and it just feels like plot moving forward. And yeah, there's not any moment where that story ever solidifies or actually lays any foundation.
It has anything real going on?
No.
I think the thing as well is that the fact that Homer being a mattress salesman has almost nothing to do with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the fact that the Lovejoys get that particular mattress, and then Homer has to be responsible for it somehow.
For
So
some
it's
reason, yeah,
like-
they come back to him to return it, not to the store.
Yeah.
which was bizarre. Like he's like, "Oh, right, you were checked." Like what? What? It's not your personal mattress collection. What
So-
the hell is going on?
Yeah, they've bent the, logical laws to bring them to his house so that they can fuck on his mattress. Is this a thing that happened within the Simpsons writing staff that, like, they had some friends over and they slept on their mattress and wanted it? Like,
Look, maybe it's an American thing. I don't know.
I was really fucking worried that at one point when they discover like Homer and Marge back in their bed, they were gonna like touch hands over it, and then they were gonna like, I don't know, split it there and just do it there as well. And I was like, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't do it in the same bed.
when you say where it could have led, yeah, maybe behind the billboard was a better place for it to go.
Yeah.
What parts of the Bart story stood out to you guys?
I kind of like where someone's graffiti "I hate Bart" across the entire city, and it was actually Bart. I like that
Yeah.
he's kind of cracked under the pressure, and it's manifested saying, "I hate me too. I'm
Yeah.
I'm one of you again."
Although as soon as I saw it on even the Simpson house, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Bart's done it.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a surprise, and I think.
But this is another one of those things where they don't let any plot point marinate for any time. It was just, Marge was like, who could have done all this? Lisa goes, the one person who could have done all this. Our brother, Bart Simpson, that Bart, right over there. And points to Bart again, and it's just, oh, come on, give us a little time with that.
Yeah, let that soak in. Someone's written it everywhere.
Yeah, cut the mattress shit out and let him dive down. And that's what I'm going to say about the story that stuck out to me is that the town were kind of over it when he was up on the water tower doing the "I hate Bart" graffiti.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene after the act break where he's in hospital, they're out protesting him again. So
I think maybe because they were
Reinvigorated with the hatred.
Yeah.
but none of that's explained. It's just, we're kind of over it. No, we hate you again. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Maybe because the whole town is daubed with "I hate Bart Simpson." Like, yeah, I do hate Bart Simpson.
But what about the scenes leading up to that? Did you guys like any of the town hating on Bart for that?
I really disliked it.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, that's the point of this episode, is that it is relentlessly mean, but it's just unnecessary. Like, it's so just over the top. Sure, maybe this has happened. Maybe this is like a...
I would kind of feel like it has to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably has, like, I can think of, like, Little League dads getting all...
Yeah.
And getting up in, like, the umpire's grill and things like that.
Yeah,
but
and it's the whole sports culture thing that they put all this pressure on kids instead of the, not giving a fuck culture.
Yeah.
Try it sometime. It's easy.
Apathy. Join us. I don't care.
Whatever.
So play count. Have you seen this episode before today? If so, how many times?
I have, maybe once.
Yeah?
I have not.
Yeah, I actually only have seen this once before because I'm a big fan of the Worst Episode Ever pod. I think we've already mentioned them already in this episode. But yeah, I'm a big fan of theirs, and they did this episode, and I'm like, oh my God, I was partway through the episode. I haven't seen this.
Gasp.
And it was like exciting. Oh, wow, an episode I haven't seen.
I know, that doesn't happen for you.
And it's like, oh, God. So just to play the Wii game, this episode was reviewed on a Worst Episode Ever. What do you think this ranked out of their 107 episodes?
I know they have a particular spot for being mean to a character, so I'm going to say the 41.
41. What about you, Jordan?
I was going to say something like 36.
36. Jordan is closest,
Hey.
but it is number 9 on their
Wow.
current list.
They have not seen enough.
This is beating out a few episodes that I think are aggressively terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with how low it is, but yeah, it should be down towards the bottom.
Yeah, in the bottom half, definitely.
Yeah. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I guess no one's off point. Like, Homer gets another job. That's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Bart feels like an outsider. That happens occasionally.
Was Homer ever a jerk ass in this? I'm trying to remember.
He does when they're first... he defends Bart like, hey, he's just a boy. And they're like, that's the guy who spawned him. Hey, blame my fumbling son.
Yeah.
But that was more for the joke of defense until it falls on him. Then he immediately back. So, not overly so. He's mostly in the mattress subplot. Really, the whole Bart fumbling the balls thing comes down to Lisa.
Yeah, and she's being on point, coming to the defense of her brother and everything.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Burns is reveling in just the
not-
whatever goes on in the town and during the day.
Hates not getting egged. He gets on Smith's shoulders and like, what glorious goo.
That was weird.
It was weird, but everything Mr. Burns is the best. So.
It saved the town loving getting egged by the multi-award-winning Isotots.
Exactly. I think that's a good, like how they feel about the sports culture in this town is they're happy to get egged as long as by a winning team.
Yeah, sure. They're happy to get mooned as well by a 10-year-old boy. Oh, yes, we'll stare at those cheeks for an inappropriately long amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah, especially because, when a guy moons someone, it's not, unless you're kind of like grabbing things out of the way, you're definitely going to get a view of other stuff too.
Yeah, you're gonna show the fruit along with that ham.
It's like 2 eggs and a hanky.
Which is not legal, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, it's reverse pedophilia, I believe is the charge.
That is a weird, let's not draw from it.
Yes,
Nope.
Let's go away. I like Nelson punching the ball to pitch it.
Yeah, very on character.
I also like Luigi's delivers on flavor. Not to your house, though.
Yeah, that was a good joke. Yeah, I think the only character integrity that's really off... Okay, first of all, the show as a whole is off for me. They bungled the B plot, and the A plot I thought was mismanaged as well. But I think the one character moment that they really dropped the fly ball on, to use the... was Milhouse, because... At the start, they have Bart stealing Milhouse's glory with that catch, and that could have been a moment for them to tie Milhouse into the plot. And
it just doesn't.
And maybe he could have caused Bart to drop the fly ball.
Yeah.
But no, they really dropped the opportunity to involve Milhouse in a serious way after establishing him.
Yep.
Yeah, there was no really follow-up to that. It was just...
No, Bart steals Milhouse's thing, and no one cares. Not even Milhouse.
Doesn't he get upset afterwards?
No, I don't think he's got a bit. Yeah, I kept expecting it, and then it just doesn't happen.
Well, and at the end, he almost spills the beans on the whole thing, and then they do the flash forward into the future where he does.
Yeah.
60 years, and then fucking Marge and Homer ghosts.
Oh, what? Let's have ghost sex. It doesn't feel like anything, but you were moaning.
It's because I'm a ghost. Woo. Oh, dumb as fuck.
And that's where the episode ended.
How did who's the writer? Michael Price. How did he not fucking punch himself for that ghost back and forth, and then fucking, or at least go to the animators at some point and go, guys, I've made a mistake.
Can we not do that? They're like, no, we've already animated it.
Well,
Jesus.
goddamn.
Well, we didn't animate Reverend Lovejoy's edible vestments. So.
No. Those were good. I did like as well, there, at least some continuity. There was a picture of Jessica in his house.
Yep.
Yep. A little bit of continuity there.
Yep.
But how about the wackiness of this episode?
Oh, God. All the endings to the stupid baseball game. All the 78 tries or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It hits the bird. It goes up in the air. It gets shot like
struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it hits Bart a couple of times, and I don't know baseball rules. I'm pretty sure it's a foul ball.
No, I don't know about that. But
yeah.
But the one that he does get hit, and he gets kind of spun around, and all his clothes fly off.
Waka waka.
And see, it's a bit jerk-ass, but I liked the moment of Homer diving and going, "Hey, I caught it." Oh wait, whoops! That was a funny joke to me.
Yeah, that's actually a reference. But some guy
based on the viral vid.
Yeah, leaned out and caught a ball, and that the team then lost because the fan caught it, and he got so much shit.
Yeah,
but he's also an adult, so
yeah, and that was the other thing it's acceptable for a fan to catch a ball that wasn't going to land in the field anyway, but this thing was. And yeah, the fan just reached down and grabbed it.
Yep. Like some kind of douche.
Wacky. Apu in this episode was really weird.
Yeah, it was.
Where he said, 8 horrible children.
8 horrible babies.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. But then he said, it's like floating on a river of corpses.
Yeah.
Is that the floating down the river of dead thing in India? What is it?
Like the Ganges.
Yeah,
I mean, there are dead bodies in the Ganges.
Yeah, was that what that reference was?
That still doesn't sound comfortable.
No. It's obscured anyway and not well earned.
Is he just are they saying he's like a psychopath?
I think it's just, this thing's kind of Indian, waka waka.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of, from a Australian white guy perspective, there aren't too many Apu lines I think are offensive, but that one seems offensive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the is it wacky? The mattress salesman's weird tricky dick, the
the wobbly cheeks. But yeah, doing the "you're hired," it's like, oh wow, great subverting of the stereotype, guys.
Yeah.
I'll remember that one forever.
Forever and ever. A brief aside, I do like how Lenny has written a series of bestsellers. The Murderer Did It.
Yeah. that was a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Although before, at the very start, there's something Willie says. It's like, oh, it keeps my naughty hands busy.
Because he's like sewing like a black armband. For some reason.
It's like a bicep warmer. Or
yeah,
something.
so it's meant to be a mislead into, we need to thank groundskeeper Willie. He's looking at the black band on his arm, which usually means someone has died. So they're saying Willie has died, and then cutting to him sewing them.
That was weird as
It's
fuck.
just pointless. It's a long way to go for not a great payoff of a joke. My wacky moment was when they're watching the old documentary and they saw the baseball that hit Eleanor Roosevelt that made her ugly.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was mean.
That was
Eleanor Roosevelt is a great lady.
Very ugly, though.
But, what she lacked in looks, she made up in philanthropy.
exactly. Don't diss
I think.
Eleanor.
That was her, right? That wasn't Jackie Onassis.
Jackie Onassis didn't do anything other than being real fashionable and failed to put a skull back together.
Oof. Oof.
She tried, to her credit.
Yeah. I mean, she was the daughter of a big shipping magnate, wasn't she?
I don't know. I'm not a biographer.
Okay.
And I know nothing about magnets. How about the heart of this episode? Did you feel the bumps?
You got a little bit from Marge being so concerned for Bart,
Yeah.
but it wasn't really the driving force behind the episode.
Man, it's time that got eaten up by this mattress storyline that they really could have put into the feels of the Bart, which, to their credit, they went for.
Nodding.
But
But Bart, I don't know, is he so idiotic and shallow that he's like, he didn't understand that they were just doing this all for him? Really? I mean, I get that's the joke, but he's not that stupid to
Maybe
not realize.
He wanted to believe the lie, I suppose. At this point, he's so broken.
So fragile. Maybe.
Maybe.
Weird case of hearts. The Mexican commentator who's like, please, if they win, do not fire guns into the air. You'll kill my sister?
Yeah.
What?
it's just so weird, man.
Why? Where is his sister? Is she a giant magnet, maybe? All the bullets just will come down
She's a
straight
ghost.
Oh, God, she is now.
But look, I could have believed the whole denial of Bart, if they just played it a bit better.
Yeah.
This was just so mismanaged. I think it's another example of where the story, the beats were decent enough, but the actual material and the flesh that it was made of, just nah. Nah, fuck it, mate. Fucked.
Cunt's fucked.
So, yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
Nah.
It's cunt's fucked.
None of it's counts fucked, man.
No, it's not completely fucked.
Fucked. None of it's counts fucked.
But look, what would you change about this episode to make it better?
I'd have something of note happen.
Yeah, look, I got the B story. It does nothing to tie into the main storyline. And if anything, it distracts Marge. It gives Marge another thing to do in an episode where she should be wholly supporting Bart.
Yeah.
I was mildly amused by well-laid Lovejoys being all super just joyful during the sermon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one musical moment for this episode. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Oh,
We fucked.
Yeah. I shine the light where it normally doesn't shine. Because we use a Mac torch when we have sex. I don't know how this song goes. I didn't go to Hillsong.
I feel like you don't know how sex works.
Did you say a Mac torch?
Yeah, because this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
M-A-G, mag.
Oh, it is mag?
Not
Like a mag
Right,
light?
no, yeah, mag light, Mac truck. I always used to do this.
You hit
Right.
a mag light with a Mac truck.
Yes.
Oh, that
And
was
then
the ad, wasn't
it? Still
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
So, Jordan, any other notes about this episode?
Yeah, I had a couple of anal corners. Couple.
Anal quarter!
Why? I mean, look, I get that they have to set it up so Bart makes a mistake, but why did they have to make it so ridiculous? He's like kicking it over. He's stumbling. He somehow manages to kick the ball from shortstop all the way out to the outfield and then out the wall of the thing. Also,
Yeah.
there is no wall. It's a fence with a paddock outside, but then suddenly there's a wall it's a Major League Baseball thing.
Good old convenient walls.
But why did they have to make it so ridiculous? And why does Bart suddenly become completely incapable of,
Yeah.
even just picking up a ball, and he's got this glazed expression in his eyes and
Yeah.
everything. I just don't know what.
He's gone all dave.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
is this what happened? He leant over to pick up the ball and he ran his head into the wall, or he just ran into the wall?
And then he kicks the ball, and then
Yeah. I don't know. There was at least one thing that I liked there. I laughed at the line. I don't know if it's actually funny. The line of, "Oh, it's like watching a monkey with a hand grenade."
Eat a hand grenade, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. Eat a hand grenade.
Yeah, it's like, I know this is going to end well, yet I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
Until boom.
When has Marge had glasses? Has she had glasses before?
No, but I kind of like that as a joke if she couldn't. It's like, oh, yes, I see what you're talking
Isn't
about.
that something?
But the whole thing of Lisa going, "Mum, put on your glasses," because I don't know if you guys have got parents with glasses that do not like to wear them. But, like, my mum was like that. She was, like, originally in denial of the fact that she needed reading glasses.
Yeah. What did she Marge say? Like, they make me look dowdy. And
Yeah.
Well, you picked the style, Marge.
Mhm.
It's your own fault.
Yeah, but I like that. Yeah, she puts on essentially Millhouse glasses.
Yeah. Mo was way too late to be like, oh, because there was a streaker on the pitch. And
Yeah.
but he's like only just getting onto the pitch now.
Yeah, but that's part of the whole, think of an excuse, and that'll do it.
They established the fact, this is my last one, they established the fact that Nelson pitches by punching the ball.
Yep.
And then the last game,
Yeah, and the
or two,
redux, they
he's
don't.
just throwing
Pitching,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine because the first one they played the joke and the second one the story's about something completely different at that point.
And maybe it's because they need him
Accuracy.
to not strike.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give him that one. Fine. Simpsons ruining my Jordan's anal corner while I get nothing.
Jordan's angry mumbles.
Jordan's angry mumbles.
BT, do you have any other notes about this episode?
Let's see. I do actually kind of like where Marge goes, shouldn't you go to your job as a mattress salesman? And I was like, oh yeah, let's see where that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good
yeah, it's another Homer job, so let's see where this goes.
No, but it's totally like a parody moment. The Simpsons calling out their own bullshit, but I think they handled that well. Yep. Any other notes?
Nope.
That it?
Yeah, that was me stretching. I've been doodling on this page for the past 5 minutes.
I had just some like notes that are like, you stink worse than a Dutchman's throw up.
Oh, that was a line.
That was not cool. Oh no, they're not mostly skunk tails and horse nipples. Like
the hot dog,
the hot dogs, yeah.
which Homer then eats later.
but then like the fact that I do like the continuing gag of him being like a corporate shill for everything. It's like, this sunset brought to you by God.
Yeah, that was a particularly well delivered baseball announcer. And today's sunrise delivered to you by God.
They say like he's doing pretty well for someone who came out blue and backwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. I mean, look, I know I was.
A backwards baby.
Well, no, I wasn't backwards.
Sideways.
No, I was forceps.
Oh.
And I did come out with the umbilical cord around my neck as well. But so I am in the same position as Bart.
I came out blue as well, but it was just like breathing difficulty. They just put me in an incubator. Yeah, that was right.
I was assembled on a factory.
I was going to say the only other joke I kind of like was the when they're outside the hospital and Marge is like ranting at them, like someone like takes the sign down and then another one just like comes up and it says, "We're sorry." Like,
I didn't see that. I like that. That's good.
No, that was a good move. Good old mob mentality, flipping the opinion very quickly.
Nice.
All right, just some quick fire notes from me of last things I want to bring up. I liked the joke with Frank. According to my math, all they need is one more point. And just on the paper, it's 3 minus 2
equals 1.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah. The husband chair, that's just a good thing to point out. And it's a shame they didn't have more to go with the actual concept of a husband chair in the store.
Yeah.
Because I thought those were 2 decent enough jokes, you know?
Yeah, I do like William pulls a gun. Is like, just keep moving.
Yeah.
I was going to find a swimsuit that doesn't make her look horsey.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
poor Sarah. Yeah. Homer and Marge's whole loud whisper thing. Don't tell Bart. He's a sucky baseball. You Bart. Like, I hate that loud whisper bit.
But Marge, that was the thing we were talking about just seconds ago.
Yeah, so
Dumb
crammy down the throat sort of stuff. So where they hit too much of an extreme with everybody hates Bart is where, like, the second scene of it was the radio station playing, and here's our #1 Bart Sucks song, and then it's the bully singing Love Stinks, but Bart Stinks.
Yeah, I've just realized what my note, why would?
Why would?
Yeah, it was, why would Bart be listening to that radio station?
The all Bart Simpson sucks network.
Yeah, exactly. Why would he even tune into that?
Glutton for punishment, he must be.
People just like Googling themselves when they know there's been like a terrible tragedy or something like that.
Another line I like, Google my stats, I wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. But the one thing that kind of redeems that joke was Bart was going, oh, they ruined my favorite song, and then he pulls down Jay Giles' band posters from the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was a great way to sell an otherwise terrible bit.
Is that by Jay Giles' band?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I knew they did the centerfold, and that's about it.
Oh, Angel in the Centerfold?
Angel is the centerfold.
All right, nice. I like that song. It's very respectful.
Homer's necklace, where it's the mattress and gold and diamonds, and he goes, they made it for Elvis, but he said it was too much or whatever. Like, what do you guys think of
I
that?
kind of liked it, actually.
Yeah?
Like, it's a dumb thing to spend money on, and they kind of redeem it by then having him sing even Elvis thought it was tacky.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Marge, I'd be pissed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
But-
yeah. See, that's the thing. This episode didn't have enough time for Marge to get pissed. They just had to rush the scene where they go over to their house and then,
Yeah.
Fuck it.
yeah.
In that room.
And was King Solomon even a story of the Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they do the whole cut in half thing, and I didn't like how that played out.
And Homer getting turned on by the thought of sandwiches.
You don't?
Well, I do, but it's just like, just because you got it cut in a triangle, I mean, you can cut sandwiches in
Yeah.
rectangles as well.
Yeah, if you're a
Come on.
monster.
We'll discuss. Rectangle is much better.
Twitter, rectangles or triangles?
Right in now. Yeah, that's all the notes I've got about this episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Let's rank this thing.
Ranking.
Elliot goes first. Fuck, I don't know where to go.
Follow your heart, man.
Participant. It was almost failure. Yeah. Oh fuck. It's no. I'm pulling a Jordan and I'm going last. BT, you now.
Participant. I nothing this so much. Nothing stands out as good or bad on this. This is a total flatline for me.
Fair enough.
I just don't feel like they're mean enough to Bart for me to be condemning it for that. They were meaner when they thought he stole from the church collection plate, which arguably is a worse thing because that's an intentional crime as opposed to just screwing up a baseball thingy.
Yeah.
But I nothing this episode. It's a complete flatline for me. So yeah, participant.
Jordan.
Their jokes were better in that church collection
Yeah,
late episode.
yeah.
Though.
Much better.
All the money out of the church collection. The eternal struggle with these episodes.
I know.
What is good again? Maybe it's because I don't have the kind of something the HD or the classic episode to kind of compare it against. But I think maybe this is another participant. On any other day, I might fail this.
Yeah.
But today, I think this is just a participant. This is going to be like one of those. That one. Forget it. Forget about it.
I feel like that one is basically a good descriptive for
Maybe
it.
my new thing of failure is like, oh, this is so bad, you have to see this one. Whereas this one would be like, don't bother, man. Just skip it.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. It's the train wreck compared to the train stopping.
Yeah. You know what? It's an unshakable thing for me. I can't participate in this. I have to fail it.
Alright.
And it is just I think I've laughed more in this one than I have certainly other ones tonight, but there's just something about how they treat Bart, how they unroll that story that's clunky and inconsistent, and then the whole thing with the mattress plot and how poorly that is handled as far as, like, there's some good jokes, but also it is a lot of plot announcing. And,
Definitely.
I think I've been nicer to episodes previously tonight, but I'm going to be mean to this one, and I'm failing it.
Fine.
All right, this will be a dull participant like the last one we mentioned. Hey, listeners, thank you for listening to Teenage Wasteland Part 1. Part 2 comes out next week, and I'm sure you'll love hearing how crazy we got by the end of this massive marathon 10-hour Simpsons podcasting session. On behalf of BT and Jordan, thank you for joining us again. I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the house. Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
He did it with style and flair. He was that. Wait, that's,
That's
the nanny.
the nanny. Pause
You
for a
said-
second because I got to readjust this and I want to
Yeah,
come
sure.
up on track.
I thought you said Stalin flair. I'm like, he was pretty.
Yeah, look up pictures of young Stalin.
Oh, man.
that dude is a hunk.
He will steal your girlfriend.
For better or worse, what story points stuck out there? For better or worse, what story point stuck out? So fuck you. For better or worse, what story point stuck out for you?
Her
hormones.
hormonal.
Her hormonal imbalance.
Her hormonal horse's hearse.
66th swizzle stick. The 66th swizzle stick.
In regards to Hermione, her hormonal.
In regards to Hermione, her hormonal homogeneous-
Hormonal.
hubris.
hormonal hubris.
Her
hindered-
hormonal hubris.
Her hormonal hubris hindered Harry's. What's a spell that starts with H?
Hocus pocus.
Hindered Harry's hocus pocus. Okay, so what was the full thing?
In regards
Yes,
to her
no.
Hermione, her hormonal
no.
hubris.
In regards to Hermione, comma,
Yeah.
her hormonal hubris hindered Harry's hocus pocus.
Did I write? I didn't write dick. I don't know what that one's about anyway.
It's about dick.
Yeah.
So BT, did you have any other notes?
Simpsons Index. Ranking episodes. Boom, 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 boom. That's all I got.